Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we talk all about weapons, but first, a couple bits of news and a shout out to our guild Alea Iacta Est on Jedi Covenant. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 135. What's your favorite weapon? A lightsaber? Come on, you don't even have arms. Get in the escape pod, Pada won't. With me as always is Seema. Hi Seema, how's it going?
Better now, because I love that pun. That's my favorite pun so far. I don't know why they say over on UtiniCast that there's no good Star Wars humor. They just haven't heard Pada won't.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Tio is always sort of down on the Star Wars dad jokes, but I always get a kick out of them. They could never go wrong.
So anyway, yeah, things are going great over here. I spent a lot of time this week, a prodigious amount of time giving gifts to companions, and some of you may remember I already had Koth to max affection. I also got Scorpio to max affection because I like to live on the edge. I kind of think that Scorpio's an interesting enough character that they might do dastardly things to her in the story, but also I kind of think she's safe too.
Yeah, that's
But
a
I
bold
mainly did with her because I had a little pile of Jawa junk still, or quite a pile of Jawa junk still. And one of the things she loves, she happens to love the whatever the robot, whatever the thing is that droids love.
Maintenance.
The repair items. What are they?
Maintenance
Maintenance
repair,
items.
yeah.
And then I also got Treek to max because, I know they're not gonna. I know Treek is never gonna go away because of story, because she's not in the story, and besides, she's Treek. Maintenance, yes, right. And so my next one, so that's 3 at max influence, and then I got Kaizen to like mid-20s, and I started working on both of the HKs. I don't know why, because the HKs I'm sure are safe, but I also want to do Blizz.
Loading.
So the HKs are almost to 20, and Blizz is like around 10. So that's what I'm working on in influence now. I got to be in my bonnet about influence for some reason. Plus, I have the ACT-Dog at 20 and the personal Warbot at 20. So yes, a lot of gifts this week.
Yeah, 20 is
also
no
ended
problem. I recommend anyone take any companion to 20 that they want to, whether they'll stick
Yeah.
around or not. But that Scorpio and Koth ones, those are on the bubble.
Research.
Well, I did Koth before I even started thinking about it that way, and yes, they are definitely. I don't know about Scorpio. I think Scorpio's okay, but Koth definitely bubble material. I did a heroic Star Fortress solo, sort of by accident. I was wanting to go back in and finish up that whole Star Fortress thing because I hadn't done that, and I didn't quite remember where I left off.
Achievement up.
Apparently, I already did all the solo ones, and I had one just already in my quest log, and so I just went into that. I didn't realize it was the heroic one until I came out after finishing it, and then did a solo one, and it was like, oh my gosh, so different. So
Yeah.
I guess the that's a thing. So I need to at least go through and do the heroic version of like the ones I haven't done. So I've done, I think, half of them. I need to do the rest.
Right. Yeah, you want to
working
get those in. Because I think there's
Yeah.
an achievement specifically for completing all the heroic ones, and you get like 200 decorations, 50 of
Oh, wow.
4 different kinds or something like that.
Yeah, I got quite a few decorations just by running around in the yeah, that was fun. And I did explore in there, and I found all the little buff thingies that you get from your commanders.
Yep.
And there's actually an achievement for killing the Exarch with all 4 of those buffs present.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that. But it's also been a week of much ops. So we had our ops night. I also got to run with the Friday Night Ops guys, which is my first time running with them, which was a lot of fun. Got to get my Sork out of mothballs, which she hasn't been in mothballs that long, but it was kind of funny because I was like, how do I do this again? Oh yeah, I bubble people, and then I do what now? Oh yeah, this and that and the other thing. Oh, why? Yes, but that was a lot of fun. It was a fun group. And then I got to run with the pub guys tonight too. The Soldiers of Light, always fun. And yeah, then I have my personal warbot on display here. I want a customization for him, and I want him to do tricks. But yes, like I'm thinking maybe like some nice racing stripes or some flame decals.
Yeah, you could use a paint job. No, I don't want his shape to change because he's so.
No. Don't make him like the Manon version of a Gonk power droid or something.
Right.
I want his. I love his shape. I love his like big chunky feet and.
Yeah, I hadn't seen one up close. Maybe I saw one in a preview and didn't remember. But yeah, I gotta get one, and they're all over the GTN I saw, so I will be getting one.
Yes.
So that's one thing I will be doing. What did I do? I did a bunch of, with the featured hard mode being Eternity Vault, there was a lot of Eternity Vault being run all week. There was a lot of all the Eternity Vaults. Boy, Soa got his butt kicked many times, I believe. Poor guy. He got a workout. So there was pug groups going. There was guild groups going. I know one of the ops team did it. Like ran through it and then switched characters and ran through it again, and I think every ops night at least did it once across all our various nights. So yes, did some of that, did a little bit of PvP, not too much, and did a little bit of crafting, couple things like that. But yeah, I got to get one of those warbots. That looks pretty awesome. I haven't finished. I don't know why I have not gotten in the bug to, I still don't have a companion at 50, and I should. Well, I haven't been doing that much crafting. I've been doing crew missions to get materials, but I've not bothered to turn the materials into anything. I like just stacking things up in ever larger stacks. So maybe when I get to 10,000.
I had a surprising amount of difficulty using that Jawa junk because it had been sitting in my storage for so long.
Yeah, I have a big stack of that too. So we'll see. But yeah, I should get one because if I do any crafting, especially if I'm going to make some augments or augment kits, it would be good, optimal at least to have.
It's almost too good because they come back so fast.
I know.
That all you're doing is basically sending them out on missions. You think you're logging in to play SWTOR, but really you're just clicking every 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. So we shall see this week. Get myself a Gonk droid and get some more influence going. With that, I think we can check in on what else is going on.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Well, one thing that was a thing this week on the forums, Eric posted in this thread. The thread was called "Sucks to be Squelched," and was basically people making claims that an organized attempt against them was being mounted to get them squelched, and so which was really affecting their gameplay. And what happens when you're squelched is you can't say anything in chat, and that's general chat, trade chat, PvP chat, but it's also ops chat, guild chat, and whatever it's called in PvP chat. So, or at least that's where it really hurts. I'm not sure about it being guild chat also, but it makes sense that it would be. But basically, Eric posted in that thread saying, look, if this is happening, this is a really serious problem. There's, where we will investigate, and if people are purposefully exploiting the squelch system in this way, I didn't even know there was a squelch system. I hadn't really known about it, that they will take action against them. So basically, I guess the message is if you feel that you're the target of this kind of, being reported this way, don't retaliate was his big point. Just,
don't do it back to him.
Yeah, because if you retaliate, then they can't tell who's basically in the wrong, because then you're both doing it.
Well, you're both wrong. So
yes,
you're abusing
you're both. That's right.
And this is reporting someone as a spammer is what I've never seen it called squelch anywhere else until this post. But this is, you're reporting someone in chat as a spammer, and then they get silenced as part of the process, some sort of automated process.
Yeah, what they were describing was that if enough people get together and report you, then the system will squelch you.
But that is an
And-
exploit. Well, it's exploiting the system. They count it as griefing, and you're going to get in trouble if you do it.
Right. And many claims were made about how it actually works, but I don't know that any of it was specifically true. But I would just say, if you're the victim of something like this, to report it, not to take action.
Exactly. Or go into PvP and win. There you go. It's an ultimate victory.
And don't do it to anyone else, for sure, ever.
Right. Don't.
If you figure out how to.
Right. Also in news, there was just a dev tracker post that they are continuing to check out the Nico problem. Nico Okar is missing. He's apparently off drinking in
Having
some bar
another
somewhere.
drink.
I'll come back to your companion list after this drink. I'm missing him. I stopped leveling a new character that I created because I couldn't get Nico Okar at level 1. So until he comes back, I'm gonna leave that character at level 1 as a placeholder.
Yes, me too. I stopped leveling my level 1 character that I haven't rolled up yet either. As well.
What else?
I guess there was a thing with the personal warbot not doing the right amount of damage as a companion. I didn't notice it, but then again,
The news.
that is not the kind of thing I do notice, but apparently some people have very sharp eyes or logs, and that is being looked at right now.
Yeah, it seemed like a minor difference, but significant and measurable in some way. So, okay. And because I apparently messed up the news, the next news item is that Nico Okar is still a top priority.
Yes, he still is.
And he will be back after this drink.
Community Cantina Tour in 2016. They are planning to do cantinas this year. They said they're not ready to get into specifics, but they're looking at possibly London to be the first cantina of the year. So yay for the Europe guys. And they let us know when they have more details.
Right. The big Star Wars Celebration con is in London. So they're going to obviously go and then do a cantina there. Sounds good to me. I'll go. I would.
I'm sure the guild could, put together a little,
Should I do a
funds
Kickstarter to send me?
Do a Kickstarter.
Also, the PTS is done. So that happened on the 17th. They shut down the PTS and they said, looks good. We got the feedback that we were looking for. We think we're okay for now. We don't know if they'll open it back up. We do know that they're going to open it back up when they get ready to do the championship, Eternal Championship. But I think this is for the Odessen War Zone. They think that they've got that nailed down at this point. There is more bug fixing and tweaking that they're going to put in before they make it go live in another 10 days or so. But they don't need it up anymore to test that war zone and do PTS testing of the PvP on the weekends. I thought it was doing pretty well. I thought they made some really nice changes to it. If they were going to, without making any huge drastic changes that would have had them have to scrap it and go back to the drawing board and change the map, I think they probably did enough within the context of where they were at, and I think it'll be fine. It's a little bit complicated, a little bit challenging, but that's okay. Something a little different. It's a little bit different that people will be able to try out. How about guild and community news, Seema?
In guild and community news, let's see. On Monday nights, that's when Soldiers of Light Ops team runs. They could use one more regular member, preferably a healer. Also, the Weekend Ops team, which runs on Fridays, could use additional team members at least on occasion. So those are 2 nights that are definitely open if you're looking for Ops teams.
Excellent.
Also, okay.
So, go ahead. I wasn't listening to what you said, so you just stopped talking. I figured I would just start saying something.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to do the. Yeah, hopefully this part gets edited out. But yeah, did you want me to go on?
Well, where did you leave off? Kakara talk? Have you talked about that yet? No, you haven't.
No,
Did you talk about the Weekend Ops team?
no.
That Friday Ops team is really cool. Go join the Friday Ops team.
Yeah.
Kakara Talk. In the forums, go check this out. I don't know how he did it, but he made this really cool Datacron lamp, like a nightlight style lamp. It looks like it's laser cut wood to me, but I asked him how he made it, and hopefully he'll post in that thread in the forums.
It's really good looking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So we'll find out how that went. And I just figured we would say ahoy to Brewdog, who is off on a Star Wars Disney cruise at sea, day at sea, whatever. That
I hope
looks
you're
pretty
having
awesome.
lots of fun, Brewdog.
We'll need pictures of that when he
You
gets
have
back
a
to.
lot of
Yes.
nerve showing your face around here.
And to everyone not yet in AIE, our guild is always looking for new members on Jedi Covenant. Our parent community, Alea Iacta Est, is a very large, family-friendly, multi-game group. We have a solid guild in SWTOR on both the Republic and the Imperial sides. For guild info, look at aie-guild.org, and you can catch officers in-game with /cjoin AIE LFO, and that's LFO like look for officers.
Yes, come join us. That's why we're doing this. It would be awesome to have you in the guild. And in 10 days, guild cap gets raised to 1,000. Let's fill it up.
Yes, that'll be a relief.
All right, we have a little bit of a topic tonight, I think.
Deep in the ancient, monster-infested tomb of Marka Ragnos, there is a holocron filled with dark secrets and encased in a great stone monument.
The old school holocron. We're cracking open a holocron tonight about weapons. I don't know why we never talked about weapons specifically.
No, we haven't.
I've been checking in on a few of the other MMOs that AIE is in. In fact, they're in a new one. They're in a little bit of Black Desert. And it got me thinking about weapons, and it got me thinking about the weapons in Star Wars, and really how, well, part of it that we'll get into is how they don't matter all that much. So not all that much, like many classes get no damage besides stats is actually based on the weapon damage. And the stats are the key thing. So we'll talk about some of the types. We'll talk about how the impact of stats of the weapons works and all of that kind of thing, and what some of our favorite weapons are, like these little blasters that I've got, which nothing that special, but it's got that little bit of laser light coming out of it, and that's what I like. So there are a whole bunch of the main hand weapons, the whole list. This is mostly complete. It gets a little confusing with the lightsabers versus the swords, but the blaster pistols, which are for like smugglers and mercenaries, the blaster rifles, which are for some kinds of non-snipers on the operative side, and for troopers, vanguards, and vanguards. Nobody else on none of the other mercenary power tech use blaster rifles. They both use pistols. Assault cannons, the big cannon that you hold from the top, those are only for commandos. Then there's the regular lightsabers and the double-bladed lightsabers. And then in that same class that count as lightsabers and double-bladed lightsabers, there are a few blade weapons, sort of like the vibroblade, the training sword, a couple of the war staff type of weapons, which are sort of the double-bladed assassin weapons for assassins and all the glow stick classes, Jedi and Sith classes. And then there's the sniper rifle, which is just for snipers. The reason it gets confusing around the blade weapons is because there are a few other kinds of old school blade weapons and like that are called like tech blade, and there's a weapon called a tech staff that cannot be used by lightsaber wielders or assassins' shadows as a double-bladed lightsaber. The companions were the only ones that used to be able to use them. And even then, it's confusing because they changed up some of the way the companions use weapons. And Orion, for example, who used a tech staff, basically looks like a double-ended club of some kind that he hits people with. I think he might have got switched over to a blaster rifle or a pistol. In fact, does anybody have Torian that they could double check? So I don't know if anyone in the game actually uses
Not
some
anymore.
of those old school. Yeah, he's gone. He's missing, isn't he? Well, somebody could go get him, or have not started the class and be able to check him out. But yeah,
Right, that's
so there are a few of those old school weapons that either can still only be equipped by a companion or nobody can use. And then there's the offhand weapons, which in a few cases actually are weapons, and in other cases completely are not. The vibro knife for operatives is sort of their offhand. The scatter gun / shotgun for smugglers. Mercenaries dual wield the blasters. A lot of the lightsaber classes, the marauders and they sentinels. Yeah, they dual wield. And then I think those are the only other weapons where the actual offhand weapon matters. Every other class that needs an offhand then either uses a stat offhand that they call a generator in most cases, or a tanking offhand, which is a shield generator. So, with all of that, what are the key points that make Star Wars somewhat unique in this case? The only piece of a weapon, so if you think of a weapon as, especially the moddable weapons, as sort of the core idea of what a weapon is, there's the barrel or hilt, then there's a mod, an enhancement, a color crystal, and an augment slot if you've added an augment slot to it, which you should have. The mod and enhancement, the color and the mod and enhancement and augment for at least are the same as every other mod, enhancement, and augment you might have on any of the rest of your gear. In fact, whenever I go and upgrade my weapons, I grab either through crystals or through an ops drop of some other piece of gear I got, an optimal mod enhancement, and then I augment it with whatever augment I want. The barrel and the hilt are the only piece of the weapon that actually add weapon damage to it. So chat's saying that Torian still does have a tech staff. All right, so the tech staff is still in the game. He uses one, I think, Kefas. Kaizen. I think Kaizen uses one too. Big stick that they whack things with. And the Deshad, what's his name? Kembal uses a blade that you cannot use he uses a tech blade that again is not a weapon that a lightsaber wielder can use, although there are blades that a white lightsaber wielder can use. Anyway, what was I saying? Barrels and hilts. Barrels and hilts are all that matter. So what you get on the barrel and hilt is based on the level range of the barrel or hilt, 208, 216. There's the 212s are not barrels or hilts. So 208, 216, 220, 224, those are the main barrels and hilts that you would be having at level 65 right now. They will have a min damage and max damage on them, and that stat is the only sort of weapon stat in the game. That does add weapon damage to some of the attacks that direct damage, weapon damage dealing classes do. So here's where it gets a little tricky and it sort of de-emphasizes the value of weapons in Star Wars altogether, is only the classes that bother to do direct damage. So that would be the range classes with the blaster weapons, or lightsaber classes that are actually hitting things with their lightsaber, so not Sorks. That hilt, that min damage, max damage figures only into a melee attack or a ranged attack. So the types of damage, if you look in your character sheet, there's melee ranged damage, and then there's force/tech damage. Force and tech damage are modified by stats only and not by the min-max damage of the barrel or hilt. So if you look at your abilities, even on, like here on my mercenary, who is a direct damage, blaster damage, ranged class, half of these abilities there's no influence from the min-max damage of the actual weapon.
And that's because they're doing kinetic damage instead of weapon damage or something, energy damage of some sort. Yeah.
Right, they're doing tech.
It just benefits from the stats, your total stats.
So without that, all you really care about are the stats. And so Seema, for you, for any of the healing classes really, weapons are nothing but stat sticks. Just another slot for stats, and it's all the same stats that you get everywhere else. It's just stats, and that's all you need to worry about.
Right. If I'm healing. But if I'm shooting things, different.
Unless you're playing on your Sorker Sage, in which it still doesn't matter.
You're right. You're right. That's right.
So Sorkin Sage, because all of their
because they
damage,
just use
they
Hokey
never
religion.
they never do any melee damage. They never hit things with their lightsaber. And I don't know, unless you're a very special Sork.
They can. They have 2 abilities that hit things with their light.
They do.
You know, I remember using them on Typhon.
You do. You have to use them. You have to use them for like the first 10 levels, and then never again.
Right.
And you have to, because you've got nothing else you can do. You know, then by like level 5, you get like a shock that you can use like once every 20 seconds or something.
Right.
And it's like, geez, someone like whacking on things with a lightsaber. Never do this again. What an inelegant use for this elegant weapon.
Not only is my religion hokey, but it's inelegant.
The one other little piece of weapons that are different, though, is if you have a weapon in your main hand or your offhand, it can have a color crystal. And the color crystals right now are all very generic in terms of the stats. Everything should be plus 41 to whatever you'd prefer it to be. Plus 41 crit tends to be optimal for most damage and healing classes right now, but it could be something else. It could be plus, like tanks will use a plus 41 endurance, I think. Yep.
Maybe.
You could use a little slightly different crystal. You could use a plus 41 power that used to be optimal before 4.0 came around, but I've got plus 41 crit. The other thing, obviously, that crystals are useful for is for changing the look of the weapon. And we'll get into all about the looks of the weapon in a sec. So anything else that you got to add, Seema, on just sort of the whole damage and stat sticks, and your thoughts on weapons just really being just stat sticks in Star Wars?
I'm fine with it because it's been that way for me, you know, from day one. I do tend to never roll on the weapon tokens until all the DPS have them, just because of the off chance. I guess it doesn't make any difference I hadn't really worked it out in my mind that it doesn't make any difference to a DPS Sage. So, you know, maybe I'll roll when they roll, but they roll all the time anyway. But yeah, so for that reason, I've always done it that way. And usually by the time it gets around to me, they're reasonably priced on the GTN anyway. So, and since it doesn't, yeah, for me, it's just a few points of my prime stat that makes a difference with the hilt or the barrel. Because I mean, I don't care that much about a little bit extra endurance, and that's all you get. Right.
A little bit extra mastery, a little bit extra endurance.
Yeah.
And you'll only get mastery and endurance. You'll either get there's sort of 2 versions of the barrels and hilts. One with higher endurance and slightly lower mastery, one with higher mastery and slightly lower endurance. So
I guess I feel kind of the other way around. Like when I do have to worry about weapon damage, then I'm kind of like, oh, all right, let me look at this and see which one's better.
I do, yeah. Well, if you're optimizing, all the damage classes everyone will get the higher mastery. They'll get like the versatile barrels and hilts or whatever. The only time that you might get something different is with a tank that might go for an endurance barrel.
No, I meant as opposed to, higher damage or a wider range of damage versus just looking at the stats, like having to look at that because it makes a difference.
Right, and even then, so again, with it being so sort of generic in terms of the min-max damage in Star Wars, I couldn't even have told you. In fact, I still can't tell you unless I hover over it right now, which I'm resisting doing. I have no idea what the min and max damage of my weapon is. I just know I currently have a 220 barrel.
So it goes with the eye level no matter. That makes sense.
Yep. So it's
of course
it scales
does, yeah.
scales directly with the eye level. There's not like a version of the 220 that's slightly lower min or max, and there's not like, this one has a lower min but a slightly higher max that averages slightly differently. There's none of that in Star Wars. So it's
like how the armor rating is tied to the eye level of your non-weapon equipment. Yeah.
So it makes it simple. 208, 216 is better than 208, 220 is better than 216, 224 is better than 220, and there's nothing else. And there's only one each of those unless you want, there's two each of those with a slightly different endurance mastery stat mix. Otherwise,
and then you use your
don't worry about
mods and enhancements to, min-max your accuracy and crit and alacrity.
Right. So everything else, you should be looking at your total profile of how you want all of your stats to end up. And then you can switch out the mod enhancement on all of your gear pieces and also be looking at your implants and earpieces all as one giant pool of all of the stats that you need. Then you're going to cap accuracy, then you're going to mastery and endurance are in a slightly different pool. The secondary stats are sort of on their own balanced pool, and you'll figure out how much you want of the secondary stats for your particular role. Like I tend to put accuracy on my weapons, and then when I'm going to switch, if I ever wanted to switch out, I would just be able to switch out the minimum number of pieces that have accuracy if I wanted to make my merc into a healer, for example. So I needed a couple accuracy augments to get my accuracy to the perfect cap level and not go over. So I have accuracy on both of my blaster pistols and the accuracy augment in each of those blaster pistols as well. And then I think, I've got accuracy also on my implants. And I think I have no accuracy. Oh, see, I do have it on the arm piece. I think I have no accuracy then on any of the other gear pieces on the right side here. Exactly. So none of these have any accuracy on them. The head, chest, gloves, belt, legs, boots. So all of these would work, but for better or for worse, they would work. They probably have not enough alacrity to be perfect, but they have 0 accuracy at least, would work as a healer set if I wanted to switch to healing. So I could just have a few pieces in my inventory and not have to switch out everything. So I like doing that.
So you're going to be switching to healing? Is that what I heard there?
No. I'm not going to switch permanently to healing, but I've been thinking of doing it for about a year now, but
I know.
At least having a healing set. So when we need an extra healer at some point, I should be able to. I've done years worth of healing in other MMOs. I just have never. I even did a lot of healing. Not a lot, but I did some healing at least when Star Wars first came out. Yeah, in Warzones.
Yeah, I did a lot of DPS in other games too. I don't know. I've settled on healing, I guess, at this point. Although I do. Yeah, I say the same thing. I'm gonna learn to DPS here soon.
Yeah, soon, quote unquote, trademark.
Yes.
So if this is just some slots to put your mods and enhancements and maybe put a color crystal in a barrel, then what else are weapons good for? To make you look good.
Yeah. Your weapons are actually very cool. Mine are kind of mismatched. Yeah.
They're all right. The model's not that great, but I do like that little laser coming out, which does change color based on the crystal that you have.
Yeah.
So why do I have that color crystal in right now? Because usually I have a white crystal. Maybe I don't have a white crit crystal in my collection. Because all through 3.0 up to 4.0, it was always Hawkeye. So I kept picking up the Hawkeyes of different colors, added it to my cartel collection. And I didn't get very many of the crit ones because nobody used crit before 4.0. And now everybody uses crit and nobody has the inventory of them. So
I have those Kingpin blasters. Maybe I'll get.
Oh, these are Kingpin? Is that what they are?
Yeah. Although I like this one. My offhand I have, but it's just a regular old MedTech one that dropped in ops somewhere along the way. But then I also have this like, old pirate looking, like.
Blunderbuss style.
Yes, thank you, blunderbuss type of thing.
Oh, that's from Rishi.
Yeah, from Rishi, and I don't know why I picked that up. I think I just like the kind of how it doesn't fit in. But now I'm ready to.
Yeah, that's cool. I like those Rishi weapons. They're awesome.
I think at one point I might have had 2 Rishi weapons. But I don't know why
Let us agree to disagree.
I like weapons that change with the color crystal.
I see that you are still
obviously
committed to being
lightsabers do.
wrong.
But I like when you can put a color crystal in a gun and it changes it. You'll always see, so if you add a color crystal into a blaster rifle, a sniper rifle, you'll see it when you shoot. You'll see the, why am I not? Oh, there we go. There I have, oh, this is boring. I gotta change this color. This is boring. My weapons are boring me. So I've got the cyan. How much more boring could you be? I need a gray crystal. Cyan blue color crystal. I think I just grabbed a crit one and never even bothered to look at it again. Because I have some nice black white ones. And nice pure white crystal.
Really worry what color I put in.
So you can see the blaster, your blaster color when you shoot the weapon. Some of them have a little extra effect where you can see the color crystal when you have the gun out and drawn like this. That very faint line there gets brighter if I would have a red crystal in there or a pink crystal or my white crystals. Those change color based on the crystal. Lightsabers obviously are a different case. So lightsabers change color with the crystal, most of them. There could be special cases where they don't. And lightsabers also get special effects on them. And we saw this most dramatically with the most recent crystal, the most recent hilt, which was the, what do they call it? The unstable?
Yeah, unstable.
Which is the Kylo Ren style, crackly, staticky blade. That effect goes with the hilt. It does not go with, it goes with the shell, not with the crystal. So don't think you can, right. don't think there's any effect that comes from the crystal besides changing the color. If you can change the color, which for lightsabers in 99% of the cases you can. I think there are a couple cases where there's some special lightsabers which you couldn't change the color on. But the saber staves, the double-bladed lightsabers, it's one crystal, so you can't have one color coming out of one side, one color coming out of the other. That would be cool, though. But for the dual-wielding classes, you can have 2 different colors, one in each hand.
Yeah, I was just noticing that because I took the crystal out of one of my pistols, and so it defaulted to like the gold color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right. If you're dual-wielding blasters, you can have 2 different colors coming out of your blasters as well. There are special cases where you could have a blade weapon and have an effect from a crystal. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that there's a couple cases where, because a lot of the blade weapons, so if you want a good place to look at weapon models, I would go to torfashion.com, tor-fashion.com. I'll show you the website. It's hard to find them if you're not used to the Tor Fashion website. Way at the top, there's a drop-down menu called Similarity. This is the only place that you can go to find the weapon sets easily. So if you go to Similarity, then you can click on a particular type of weapon like lightsabers and get the whole list of lightsabers. It mostly focuses on the hilt, but then you'll get the full set you can look through. You can get some of the curved hilts like what's his name in this Star Wars episode 2? Not Count Dooku. Like the Count Dooku hilts. You can get special guards. There are a couple little animations in some of the hilts where you can have a crystal that's sort of spinning around in the middle of the hilt. That looks pretty cool. And then again, the blade effects are tied to the hilt. One of my favorite hilts are the Gree hilts for 2 reasons. One, it's got a cool sort of digital effect along the blade, sort of a smoky digital, that Gree effect.
Yeah.
going on. The second thing is the Gree weapons and the Gree offhands are all legacy bound. Now, I guess let's diverge and before we get back to what the most awesome weapons in the game are. Legacy weapons are worth talking about for just a second. I find legacy weapons to be very useful, but slightly less useful than legacy armor. So legacy armor, for example, here on my mercenary, all of this legacy armor I can swap back and forth with my commando and set bonuses and everything switch over and it's all great. But guess what? I can't share weapons with my commando because my commando uses an assault cannon and my mercenary uses blaster pistols. My power tech uses a blaster pistol and my vanguard uses an assault rifle. Snipers use a sniper rifle and sharpshooter or gunslingers use a blaster pistol. Yeah. So there are a few sets of classes that cannot share. The lightsaber wielding classes can share. So you've got that going for you, which is nice.
Yes, all of the force using classes can share.
Yes, this is true. He says slowly while he thinks in his head of all the possible cases and verifies. Yes.
This does not compute.
This is true. So that's something you want to think about. I tend to still get legacy weapons and legacy armor as my base set. Costume, I guess one other thing to mention is the costume tabs do not have a slot for weapons. So whatever your base weapon is on your main character tab is the weapon that shows, and you can't have a skin, you can't have a costume weapon. Unfortunately, which is too bad, because I wouldn't mind just some random legacy weapon for everybody so that I could share them around if I needed to or had the opportunity, but then switch off a costume weapon. No, yeah, like if you're gonna put on your Rishi pirate costume, then you're gonna dual wield those pirate blasters to complete the outfit. That would be cool. Anything else on sort of the core deal with weapons, Seema?
We require no.
And what are your favorite? You got any favorites in the game that you like? Either the weapon types that are your favorite. I mean, lightsabers are always cool. I never liked assault cannons that much. It's sort of like a big bulky thing, and some of them look sort of cool, but I never liked them all that much.
I guess I like the ones that have a little cool factor to them, but I don't really have a preference of a type of. I guess I'm happy with the laser pistol, the blaster pistols on my Merc. I guess I go for the blasters over the lightsabers, because definitely since my force users are all Sorks or Sages, the lightsaber really doesn't even enter into it.
Right.
Like it's not even in most of the animations.
I have a really cool blade on my assassin that's an unstable blade, so it's got like a pulsing effect down the blade that I really like, with a really vibrant red crystal in it. But my favorite weapons were always, now that I think back a bit, I didn't even think of this until we just started talking about it, was the blaster rifles. I think if I go back in my inventory on my Vanguard, from level 1 to level 50, every moddable blaster rifle that I got while leveling up, I kept, and I still have in my inventory. I think I even have it on my Merc here for my blaster pistols on those two. Other classes, not so much, but those two, the blaster pistols and the blaster rifles especially, I really liked a bunch of those blaster rifles. I don't even know what the current blaster rifle is that I'm using, though.
I think the first weapon I ever got that I really, really, did kind of a double take and said, whoa, that's cool, was there was a daily in Belsavis that you would get a new weapon for your companion, and there was this tech blade that you got for Kaizen from that, and it was just huge compared to any of his other tech blades, and I'm like, okay, that is cool. I like that.
Seema,
but for my weapons, they all kind of seem the same to me.
I like a bunch of the PvP weapons look pretty cool. One of my favorite set of weapons in the game, which I do not have because I was not a ranked PvPer at the time, but it was
weapons on fire.
Yeah, the ones that were on fire. So some people in the game still have them. there's literal flames on the weapon itself is on fire. It looks so cool. I really want that. If I had known that was going to be a choice, I would have ranked PvP for that season. Those look really awesome. But yeah, I really like the blaster rifles. There's a couple lightsabers I like. I never really cared too much about the hilts. A lot of them you can't see, even the blaster pistols. You can't really see unless you zoom in on yourself.
Right.
Some of the the new sword weapons, like the Cathar Honor Sword, and I think I'm gonna like that new HK sword weapon. Those look pretty cool. And there's a couple sniper rifles that I like. I really like the Gree sniper rifle for my agent. It fits the look that he's got, and it's a really tech futuristic looking sniper rifle, and it's legacy bound. I like that one. I think that one's really cool. Well, I gotta go fix the crystals in my blasters here, because beige.
I'm gonna maybe find my Kingpin blasters and see how they look, because now that you made me take a look at what I am carrying, I'm like, oh, this is kind of dumb. So,
yeah. The Kingpin blasters, for anyone that's looking for them, come from the Nar Shaddaa Nightlife event. The Kingpin assault rifle is like a 1920s Tommy gun. So that's really cool too. Alrighty then. I think with that, our little EPC 135 Pada-won't learner is ready to head out. So thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, on iTunes, YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Monday night, as we do every Monday night, almost every Monday night, on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA. Please subscribe on YouTube. That's the word I'm looking for. And certainly please come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AI.
Thank you for downloading this show from YSDC. For more information, visit yogsothoth.com.
So I'm here with Simon Rogers of Pelgrane Press, here in the magnificent Pelgrane Towers. And today we're going to have a bit of chat about some of the new products coming out from Pelgrane for Trail of Cthulhu. Now, top of the list, I heard about something about Trail of Cthulhu 1-to-1?
Yes, this was an idea that Kat Tobin had, the idea of a one player and one GM gumshoe version. Because while there are a few games that only have two players, it's a opportunity for people to play, often with their partners, just one person, another person, then you're not getting a group together. So that was the foundational idea of it. And that then evolved into being able to have a sole protagonist. And the archetypal sole protagonist that fits with our publishing ethos is a noir detective. And of course, because of our interest in the mythos, it's a noir detective tied in with mythos elements. So the system is called Gumshoe 1-to-1. It's written by Robin Laws, but this particular iteration of it is called Cthulhu Confidential.
Excellent name.
Yeah. So Robin wrote a character called Dex Hunter, who is an LA detective in the 30s. And at that time, they were starting to have the political influence of the communists. And it was pre-war, so you've got fascists there as well. You've also got all sorts of weird genuine occult organisations, as well as corruption, land grabbing, and lots of gangsters, as well as Hollywood. So there were places you could go to where you would meet, say, the Marx Brothers, and your character could legitimately go there, and it would be a gang-run place. So this is the setup, the establishment for this particular character. And then the game is quite intense because there's just you as a player and the GM.
I was going to say, if it's just two of you together, one-on-one, that is going to be quite a focused and intense experience.
It really is, because one of the things you need to address in a game like that is what do you do about the absence of other players? Because other players are there to give you a bit of comfort, to bounce ideas off, and also to let you relax for a bit. So that was a design issue. And one of the ways Robin dealt with it was that at the beginning of the game you have a set of contacts that you can go to solve problems. But also when you go and see them, you know that they're going to
Galactic News Network.
So you'll get a little bit of that kind of banter
and
interaction that you get with the other players. And it's obviously up to the GM to provide that, but it gives you a real strong feeling of comfort. And I played a test game with Robin, and it really was surprisingly intense. We played this over Roll20 because you're on most of the time. And it's quite scary being a lone protagonist. You can't actually die during the game because it's supposed to be to simulate fiction, a narrative fiction. So you're not going to just be shot and die, but you get problems as you're going through. You get problem cards. So you could be shot. If the worst came to the worst, you could be shot and get a fatal wound, but you will survive till the end.
To the actual end of the scenario.
Yeah. And you look at all the problem cards that you've picked up and all the edges you've picked up. And then once the game is finished, the player gets to narrate what their ending is, what they think is an appropriate ending for their character. And at the beginning of the game, you've got a problem that you establish, which is something like gambling or an addiction or, sucker for a pretty face, whatever it is. And that informs the whole game. The game is extremely easy for the player. They literally don't need to know anything other than how to pretend to be somebody, which we all know how to do. It's a bit more involved for the game master. You have to read and absorb the structure of the game, of the adventure before you start.
So the adventures, are you envisaging that these are going to be one-shot scenarios, or it could be longer?
Well, they're designed to be a series because once you've established your archetypal characters, you then need to have other adventures for them. And the core book has 3 equally prominent and important characters. So there's Dex Hunter, which Raymond Dex, oh God, I've forgotten his name, it's terrible. Then there's Langston Wright, who's an African-American war veteran in 1940s Washington, DC, who has an entirely different set of problems and concerns, but he's still there out solving problems for his community. And then there's Vivian Sinclair, who is a reporter in New York. And each of them have their own stories, and each setting has its own feel and background, and they're all of equal prominence. So each one of them will get a kind of a pilot story in the core book, and then there'll be a separate book which has further adventures for you to run through. But they're intended to be serial adventures rather than one-shots.
I was actually going to ask about that. How is this going to be published? Because you mentioned a core book and a separate book.
Well, the core book will have the Gumshoe one-to-one rules in, using the characters as examples, then the settings for those characters, and then the opening adventure for all 3 characters. And then there'll be a supplementary book that has probably 2 more adventures for each character. Because once you've done the work of the setting, devising and running the other adventures is much, much easier. And while we're doing this for Trail of Cthulhu, the way that the system is devised, clearly any fiction that you can think of that involves a lone protagonist,
a lot of Lovecraft,
which is
absolutely.
Lovecraft, and in fact most fiction is a protagonist. So it's an entirely new set of experiences that you can have as a player and a GM, and you can do it at home with your partner, probably someone who hasn't role played before. And in fact, one of the things we've discovered from the playtest is that a lot of people who have partners are not role players. This is the first time they've said, you know what, I might try that. If it's just the 2 of us and I don't have to understand the rules, then I can do it.
I mean, the other advantage I see is actually it can be quite difficult, even online, to gather a group of maybe 4, 5, 6 people all at the same time to role play. But this is just for 2 people. I say they might be in the same house, but it's a lot easier to get 2 people together than 5 or 6.
Yes, it completely circumvents the big problem in role playing, which is getting community. And this is a good game to play with someone that you know over Roll20. It would be a bit weird playing with someone you didn't know with just one other person. But it is really good for partners to play, or people that you know pretty well.
Now, obviously, you've tested it yourself. What have been your own experiences of doing this one-to-one?
Well, Gumshoe always provides you with leads. You always got somewhere to go, and that's the core foundational principle of the game. So Robin was running the game for me, and there was lots of banter. It was great. And I'm on one monitor typing in my clues, and the other monitor looking at LA and all the little pictures of the gangsters and everybody else. And eventually, I got stuck. And I thought, that's not possible. I can't be stuck because, Gumshoe provides all the leads you need. And then I realised what I was doing was blanking one of the leads, which was a gangster who I'd accidentally got into trouble with the police. He was the only person who had the information I needed, so I just blanked him because my character and me were frightened to go and see him. But once I realised that's what the problem was and that it would be good in the fiction for me to go there, I went to see him, and it was a very frightening scene. The horror is much more intense when you're playing on your own. If you're being threatened, or you're being locked away somewhere, or a couple of people are just threatening to hit you, that's really scary when there's only one of you playing. You've got no one there to back you up.
Well, the GM's focus is just on you.
Yeah. Which is why sometimes you need friends. So I had a friend in the Only Honest Cop in LA as a friend, and got his help a couple of times, and also, unfortunately, managed to kind of burn him as a contact, which was not really very good. Kat played, and she apparently solved the game much more quickly and efficiently than I did. I was wandering around doing stupid things a lot of the time.
Wow, sounds like a lot of fun. When is this actually going to come out? When are we going to see?
Well, we're aiming for Gen Con.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, there'll be playtesting this month. So if anyone wants to playtest it, come to the website and sign up. I think the Dex is all ready to play, and the other two will be ready by the end of the month.
So, presuming the success of this, do you have more in plan after its publication, the initial publication?
Yeah, it will obviously depend on the success of the whole thing, but it's such a perfect new system that it would work for police procedurals, it would work for others of our settings as well. But the mythos possibilities of it are just limitless.
It's a very good fitting glove.
It really is, and I suppose it depends how far you want to go into the horror of it. Being a lone protagonist, it could be quite terrifying. You have to be careful.
Well, definitely on my list anyway. Now, I hear rumours about a Trail of Cthulhu boxed set. Is that true?
It is, yes. It's less a box set and more of an introductory set. So it's in a box.
That counts.
It does. But it's designed to smuggle Trail of Cthulhu and Gumshoe to people who like the mythos, but don't necessarily know about role-playing. It does form a good introduction to Gumshoe for people who already role-play, but it's disguised as a board game. That's the thing.
Oh, right.
So it has those kind of board game elements and components that make you feel like you're moving your little counter around, even though what you're actually doing is role-playing. So it has the very quick setup. The GM doesn't need to do as much work before the game starts, so it's the most aim for 15 minutes of reading before they get going, and it goes through the components and what everybody has to do, and then it has like a video game style tutorial at the beginning. So you have a really simple scene at the beginning. For example, you're getting a bequest from a lawyer, and everybody plays their characters and uses their skills, and so you learn the rule system through a series of pre-designed scenes, like just like your little video game tutorial. It's got a map, a big map, probably of Arkham, so it has that board game feel to it, and depending on where you go, different of your investigators find it more easy to collect information. It has a really simple starter, introductory adventure, and it has ways of constructing other adventures in this constrained environment of Arkham to make it really easy for the game master to run more games. So I suppose the nearest thing to the nearest equivalent to be would be Arkham Horror. But it really is just a Gumshoe role-playing game disguised as a board game.
So what can people expect to find inside the box set?
Well, because we've never produced anything like this before, this is subject to change. But you'd expect an Avalon-style box which fits in a 8.5 by 11 booklets. So a 16-page introductory adventure, which has the basic rules and the intro to the game. It has a rules pamphlet, which is all the player-facing Trails rules in it. The GM book with the rules, monsters, and extra adventures, and then some pre-gens, which we'll probably do on nice postcards, double-sided. Some antagonist cards, which will get matched to the clues. So when they go somewhere and they see a clue, it will match to whatever creature has left the trace, whatever the real antagonist is. Double-sided map of Arkham, probably with maybe a haunted house or a couple of floor plans on the other side. Dice and some adventure handouts, letters, postcards, that sort of thing. And then something to represent the characters, which may be plastic standees, or possibly, if we're really fortunate, the campaign coin people could make us some little metal figures to go with it. We've not decided yet for sure whether we're going to Kickstart it or not.
I was going to ask about that, because once you start producing box sets, and this one sounds, let's say, more board gamey, that the component cost is going to be quite high, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, we're still in discussion about it, really. Ideally, you want to produce as many copies of a game as you can in order to improve the quality of the components and to be able to reduce the cost per component. For example, being able to do an offset run of books as opposed to a digital run of books, and to have 1,000 miniatures as opposed to 500 makes a huge difference. But then on the other hand, we haven't established yet what the market for this will be, because our existing customers already have Trail of Cthulhu. Whether they would want an introductory box set, they should, clearly.
Can you do it like a double duty? Because you're producing something that is... A lot of people's introductory role-playing books are just that. They're just quick start. They're just thin pamphlet books of the same format. What you're going for is a box set and something more board games-like, a much more tactile experience with more components to it. So is there a way that you could do double duty on some of that, where people who are already playing Trail of Cthulhu can make use of those materials in their own continuing games?
Yes, we wanted to make components downloadable. I do think that the process that we're going to devise, by which you start from not knowing the game to having a grasp of the game, that process can be used outside of the context of this box. So it is actually possible that we could do as you suggest and deliver these components in a different way.
Now, my next question must be, it sounds great. Do you have an idea of how much it's likely to retail at? Obviously, given all the components and scales and things like this, or timeline of delivery.
Well, we really would hope, and this may just be a hope because it's not fully costed yet, to deliver it for under $30.
The state of the galaxy.
That would be my idea.
That's about £20. That's cheap.
Yeah. So, yes, it's not going to be a super hefty, wonderful box unless we do 5,000 of it or something. It's going to be something that is approachable and manageable for people to buy. Something that they could think, oh, well, that's a board game, I'll pick that up. And then we've smuggled another role-playing game into a board gamer's household. The idea actually came from someone who's never played a role-playing game before, playing one of our games from our Seven Wonders anthology. So she was playing, it was called Rise and Fall, where you devise a dystopia. You play characters in that dystopia. And she said, this is like playing with games with my family at Christmas. So whether that's like a dystopia or not, I don't know. But she said, if this had some components, like cards and rule things and a little counter, this would be just like a board game that I play at Christmas. And I thought, this is so unlike a board game that people play at Christmas. But if you can make people feel that they've got their little counter and they're playing a board game, they're comfortable with board games, whereas they might not be comfortable with role-playing.
Excellent. So like a mimic, you're just drawing them in. It looks like a board game, but actually...
It would be like playing Monopoly and then narrating. You hear people doing it, narrating what their little counters up to as they move around.
Great stuff. Now, I'll come back to the question, though. Do you have an idea of timeline? Obviously, you talked about Kickstarter, but you haven't decided, so I guess it's a little way off.
Later, we want to have it out this year.
Right, okay, 2016.
Yeah. As far as it being written is concerned, I hope that we start writing it in the next 2 or 3 months. Gareth with some pen, I think, and I'm going to be keeping a careful eye on on the process of the language of the game, because we're going to go a bit easy on the Lovecraftian language. We're going to make it really approachable. So you're much more likely to have a statue than a figurine, for example.
Very much looking forward to that. I mean, you've sold me on it already, so I'll definitely take a copy when it's produced. Anything else you can tell us that's going to be coming out from Pelgrane in the nearish future, or 2016 and beyond?
We've got quite a packed schedule for Trail in particular. We've got a Hideous Creatures compilation. So all the KWAS creatures that we devised, plus a whole bunch of others in a book which will effectively be the Trail of Cthulhu bestiary, but not with just stats and pictures. It will have the usual story elements, adventures, and clues that monsters leave behind. Then we're doing an adventure collection called Out of the Woods, which includes an adventure in which the characters are Native Americans, Paiute Indians who have been given some land in the 1930s, and they find something terrible there that they have to deal with. We have adventures in there also by Chris Spivey, Ruth Tillman, and Adam Gauntlet. Very, very varied adventures. Also, in the more distant future, possibly next year sometime, we will be looking at doing a second edition of Trail of Cthulhu. But we're still thinking about the best way to do that, and we're hoping to learn some lessons from the box set about how best to recreate that way of learning, because role-playing game core books have to serve so many different purposes, and at the moment they're not doing them quite as well as they should, and we're not doing them quite as well as we should, because they've got to be reference, they've got to be character creation, they've got to be GM advice, they've got to be adventures all at once. So how they can be all those things simultaneously is a thing we need to think about.
Exciting times. Well, I'm very much looking forward to that, Simon. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
A media production from the Innsmouth House studio.
Well, that's messed up part 3.
Oh my God. We are confident in the future of this game that we love, but it's very, very exciting news on top of that. We've been looking forward to Bosk and Lando and a lot of other of these figures for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the prospect of an Athorian and, man, it's
another
awesome.
Jedi, more Force user application. I mean, just
crazy.
Good stuff. And we haven't even seen everything that's in this box. Like
remotely.
No. And what the tiles are going to do and all sorts of good stuff.
The ISB have 4 unrevealed command cards.
Ooh, yeah. Buff those Imperials some more. So we're excited about this, guys. But once again, we got to thank you guys. This episode was made in part by you guys at patreon.com. And
/Vader's Finest.
We just love it.
Yeah, definitely couldn't do it without you guys. But we're happy to continue this discussion with you guys on our Facebook page. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of Vader's Finest, your number one resource for competitive-minded Imperial Assault discussion. It's Grant McKinney.
And it's Jesse Aiken. And man, Grant, do we have some exciting news today?
Oh man, I stopped literally everything I was doing when I heard this and looked at my phone for like a while.
Yeah, I texted you early in the morning, and this was all we both did.
So. Oh, I was already on it.
It's good. So today, guys, we're having a special episode. We're excited this day came because we've been talking about this for a bit with the speculation. But
yeah, it came at just the right time.
Today, we are talking about Cloud City.
Yeah.
That's Bespin.
We're taking a spin on Bespin.
Taking a cloud car dream.
Whoa.
So today's episode, guys, we got a couple things. We're going to open with the news. So that's the recent news about the map changes that will go into effect starting in April.
Yep. We've done some practice on all of the Hoth maps, so we know a little bit about the Nalania map.
Yep. And then following that, we're going to cover all these Bespin spoilers because this is so great for the game.
That was crazy.
And, everything we were talking about our speculation episode seems to be coming true. This is the beginning.
And more.
So let's just keep this going. But today's episode is just going to cover all this news. And we're going to break it down the best we can from what we know right now. It's very limited. And try to give our best guesses on what all this means.
It's limited, but there's plenty for us to be excited about. Don't worry.
It's very exciting. And following this week, we're going to be covering our Dallas-Fort Worth
Weekend extravaganza store championship. Congratulations, by the way, to Jesse for being the store championship. Or the store champion. Sorry.
Spoiler alert. Whoa. But yeah, so next week's episode, guys, will be directly a battle report episode strictly devoted to that. And we will cover all of our matches in extensive detail.
Assuming between now and then we don't get some news. And then we'll cover
more news. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the Cantina corner, though, Grant.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. All right, everybody. On this week's Cantina Corner, we've got Blast from the Past, Dogfish Head Brewery, 90-minute IPA.
Oh, yeah. Imperial IPA.
Whoa. Can't forget that. As we remember, Imperial is a preface to IPA that I need in my life.
Seems like your preface to everything, Grant. Like
Imperial, yeah, right.
Imperial as in Imperial over Rebels, Imperial as in stouts. All the things.
Imperial in all things liquid and gaming.
Ooh, all the things. So let's talk about some Dogfish Head here.
Yeah. Dogfish Head's a brewery in Milton, Delaware, established in like 1995. They've been running for a while now, producing fantastic stuff. They've been getting a lot of success for a couple of years now, and it's great. Yeah. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, they're known for their use of hops and their higher ABV beers and just their excellent IPAs.
And this series in particular, the X-Minute IPAs.
Definitely. So they are a brewery in Milton, Delaware. And the ABV on this beer, Grant, on the 90-minute, easy to remember, 90 minutes divided by 10. It's 9% alcohol. So there you go. It seems like consistent with our
it's up there.
Our ABV. It's up there. So this is an IPA, but more importantly, an Imperial IPA. And it's got a lot of fun tasting notes. I see why this has won a lot of awards and things like that. So we got a lot of raisins in here, a lot of that dried fruit we've mentioned in the past. It's very prominent. So much so that it even goes to like a fruitcake taste.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's very savory and umami, where you don't see that too much in a lot of other IPAs. It's very either bitter or sweet or something like citrusy.
Or overly hoppy.
Of course, we get some citrus in here. It's more savory, kind of muted to me, and it's great. It tastes fantastic. The fruitcake is
extremely balanced. The sweet with the fruitcake and then the bready and malty
I get a lot of,
taste.
Rustic wheat bread.
Yeah.
Man, it's great.
Definitely. And then, of course, being an IPA, anything with hops, a good hop profile, you've got a little bit of bitterness, but it's very balanced by the citrus and that kind of grassiness.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, me and Grant were talking about before we started recording this episode, is that this beer, the hops are much less pronounced for this type of IPA.
Yeah. Especially considering the process.
But they're there.
Undertaken in this one.
Yeah, definitely. So that malty, fruitcakey, sweet taste is a little bit more pronounced. I know we covered Alpha Hive recently. This is a very different animal than Alpha Hive, but it's very similar too.
Imperial IPA, but very different again, as you say.
They're both sweet, both got different merits. The Dogfish Head goes in more of the malty, bready category, and the Alpha Hive goes more into that hop territory.
Yeah, it's much more of like a summer shandy. Not quite a shandy, but...
Whoa. Getting ahead of yourself here, Grant.
I've had a few Dogfish Heads today.
Whoa, spoiler alert. So, Dogfish Head, guys, it's an incredible company, incredible beer. We will definitely be covering more of them in the future.
I hope we grab some 120 minutes.
Yeah, the 120 minutes coming up. You guys just keep listening. But the shark on their label is just so distinguishable.
Iconic.
And so much so that the shark is even embedded in the bottle. So up here at the top of the bottle, there's a shark silhouette. It's what you want. So we're going to top it off here, and let's move on to our topics, Grant.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover today.
Take a sip.
Oh, the whole thing, you know.
All right, I'm watching you.
To disagree.
Oh, I'm on my second glass already, Dad.
Okay. So starting off today, guys, we're going to start with news. So we're hoping this to be a more relevant topic in every episode. It's just there hasn't been much news recently.
Yeah.
This is pretty big news, though, right, Grant?
It's
the map rotation.
It's the most exciting news related to maps we've gotten in a long time. Our old buddy Kuat is biting the dust.
Bye-bye.
No more fighting over that stupid data.
Actually, bye-bye, like that.
Bye-bye.
I know someone that does that. It's just, that's what you got to say to Quat.
Yeah, later.
It's, get out of here. So
I don't want to see you.
Quat has been around a long time, and me and Grant have voiced our opinions about it on multiple episodes.
Yeah, pretty thoroughly.
You can go back and listen. We don't have to recant that here. But
I'm willing to.
In a nutshell, it's too swingy.
Yeah.
And it benefits fast units too much.
Nothing stirs
So
the
that's a
blood
problem.
like
It benefits also lists that have throwaway characters a lot too. It's less of a problem now that 4x4 is not dominant, but it's still a huge problem because it's just not fun. Unfortunately, the new map that's taking its place is the Nalvanian Warzone in Leia's Pact.
Sure. It's a big map, which is,
It is a big
plus
map.
in my
It's cool.
book.
It's snowy. There's some cool water terrain. There are a lot of doors that have health you need to deplete. The problem with this map is one of the objectives is very comparable, I think, to Quad. It's a little less swingy.
Definitely less swingy.
Because there is some interaction, but the fact that you get 9 points. Each piece that you interact with a terminal on is very problematic, I think. 27 points of objective points you can gain is insane. That's over
That's a
half.
lot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's still not an officer Gideon just sitting in the core, though, right?
Yeah, that's
Which is
better,
just outrageous.
for sure.
I mean, I even had that come up in store championship seasons already. I pulled Gideon out because I was like, let's finish this game. Let's not just have Gideon be in here and just it'll be over.
I had
quickly.
to double move a Leia into the data core.
Whoa.
Yeah, a focused Leia. I chose the data core over attacking with a focused Leia.
Oh.
That's how good it is.
There's some advantages to the map, though, Grant. A lot of blue.
Yeah, which is
That's
interesting
beautiful.
for some of the lists we've been playing.
That rebel turret right in the middle of the map.
It's a very crazy area.
Interesting.
This map and Bespin, as we're going to talk about soon, I think ushers in, man, we've been talking about this for a while, but it's scum dominance.
Yeah.
I think this map rewards the characters that have the ability to move over obstacles and blue terrain, etc. very highly, particularly in the center. And as we'll be talking about shortly, Bespin contains a lot of scum buffs as well.
And this also buffs the Rebel Echo Base Troopers and the Imperial...
The Snow Troopers, yeah, for sure.
Both those will be seeing more play with these Hoth maps coming in rotation.
Yeah.
Thematic makes sense, and
Definitely.
they will have no trouble with that blue. So
To comment again about the droid, the recommissioned, I think is the title of the mission.
Sure.
With the droid parts. It is better than Quat. We're not 100% there, but the fact that you have to decide to go for the droids rather than a terminal is good.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
It's
better
not like
than-
the terminal's on the way. Like
yeah,
Kuat
it's
or
like you
something.
are rewarded for doing something you're going to do anyway.
Right.
This is better than that. It's good.
Yeah, and it seems like a fun map. Thematic, too.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks.
The
and
other mission is very bloody. That's exciting. Yeah.
multiple doors, too,
Yeah,
right,
it's
Grant? Which is
weird.
very interesting.
At least it's not that one map where their only way to get to the center is through doors. I'm glad
Dengar?
about that.
Dengar.
Yeah, Dengar's bomb.
It's pretty intense, that map. But overall, Kuat's being rotated out. So
That's-
we'll have
yeah.
Leia's map, this war zone map, the Mos Eisley Cantina, and then Training Ground.
yeah.
So that will be the new rotation right after Store Championships end, seems like.
I don't know if there are any store championship after this, but it's April 2nd is the official date.
So that would definitely mean this is the regional rotation.
Yeah,
so we will be covering this
call it
more
that,
extensively in our regional episodes coming up, guys. But it's exciting. A new map. I was talking with Mr. Zach Bunn.
Team Covenant's own Zach Bunn.
Yeah, about this, and he was saying he finds it really exciting, as do I, that not only do we have 3 distinct planets and terrain, but we have 3 different maps from different sets, which could be frustrating for a new player. They need to have Hoth,
I've already seen some
Twin Shadows, and
Return to
Core.
and the core. as well. I've already seen some discussion about that online. Some people frustrated.
Sure.
As we've talked about, I think it's certainly more justifiable to buy Hoth than it is to buy Twin Shadows, so I wouldn't worry too much about the Hoth part of it. The Twin Shadows still clinging on. We love the Cantina map, so I mean, I want to defend that, but Twin Shadows is not as exciting of a set as Hoth for sure.
So overall, it's better for the game.
It's definitely a move in the right direction.
It's frustrating for a new player, but I think it's better overall because 3 maps that are completely different terrain and just different terrain elements with the water, with the snow, with the ice. Oh, all the good things. The destroyed sandcrawler on the Mos Eisley, the moisture evaporators. Oh, all the good things. It's just so iconic as well. I mean, what's more iconic than,
You know what's more
Hoth?
iconic than Hoth, Jesse?
And then the Cantina as well.
You know what's more iconic than Hoth, Jesse? The reactor shaft on Bespin,
Yeah.
which is what we're getting.
That all blue piece.
Oh,
we'll,
yeah.
We'll get there, Grant. We'll get there. But the Bespin pieces are looking very exciting because not only does it bring obviously new terrain and more exciting, in my opinion, interior terrain and just Imperial bases and whatnot. It is a lot of blue. And that could mean really cool things for objectives. Very cool things. But that's the news, guys, on the Leia map. We're excited about it. We're going to be testing it more. We'll be talking with you guys about it. But let's go ahead and move on.
What we're really excited about. Not that we're not excited about this, but...
Yeah, let's move on to this Cloud City Cloud Car ride we're about to go on.
So, as I'm sure all of you guys have seen, we're getting Bespin now. The Bespin Gambit.
Yeah, we're getting the Bespin Gambit. Sounds like the Indoor Gambit.
Oh, it does a little bit. I wonder if Fantasy Flight listens to our podcast.
I hope so.
Clearly they do, because they named a card Vader's Finest, but...
Right. And those retweets.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Shout out to Horvath, Dad.
Yeah, thank you.
Father Horvath.
Thanks, Steve.
We appreciate it a lot. Let's start off with the newest, weirdest edition. It's a new condition.
Yeah, it's very important. Hidden. Yeah. So, Twin Shadows gave us Weaken, and this is going to give us Hidden. So,
I guess the small boxes are going to give us conditions, maybe.
Yeah.
That's an assumption we can make, I guess. The hidden condition is very comparable to focus. It's a condition you receive through various effects, but as you have the condition, you apply -2 accuracy to all attacks targeting you, and then you apply +1 surges to all attacks that you perform.
I like it.
Then, after you perform an attack, you discard the condition. So, if you become hidden at your activation or whatever, or in the midst of an activation, you apply the -2 accuracy until your next activation, essentially, or until the next time you decide to attack.
Definitely.
The way I've been equating this is it's very comparable to focus in the sense that you just apply an extra surge to your next attack, which is very good on characters with a lot of powerful surges. I don't know how relevant that -2 accuracy is going to be. Certainly up there. It does some interesting things to saboteurs. It does
messes up the sabs.
Yeah. I don't know that it's going to bother the HKs too much because they've got mechanical sights. They're robot focused on you.
Yeah.
But it does, again, some interesting things. It maybe is sort of a nerf to the trooper lists that we've been messing around with lately.
A little bit, yeah.
Does some weird stuff to them, but I think it's cool. It's just, it's focus, it's baby focus, basically.
You know, what's exciting about this, Grant, is we mentioned in our speculation series, those 3 episodes, we were hoping that smugglers would get something new.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be added to the smuggler rotation.
It's a smuggler spy thing for sure.
Definitely.
I'm excited about it. Yeah.
We'll see what it does. I mean, it definitely seems better than Weaken.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Anything that adds survivability, whether it's minor or not, is good.
Well, and it adds more consistency to attacks as well.
Yeah.
For sure, which is powerful. It also seems to be very widespread and easier to trigger than focus.
Definitely.
So it's very interesting. Also, it makes me more excited for future similar conditions now that we've gotten something like this. Kind of opens the door a little bit, opens my mind to the thoughts of new conditions we could have.
The question is, Grant, is do we think these Ewoks are just going to have hidden inherently?
Starts deployed with hidden.
Oh, man.
Okay, sure.
I think they will.
Yeah.
If not have it, they will be able to earn it.
Yeah. Your presence is or who knows, maybe some new condition. Invisible. I don't know.
Deploy on the corners of the map.
Yeah. Deploy off the map.
Nogri and the Ewok. You never know. The exciting part, Grant, is that this hidden, we don't know how much it's going to affect the game till we all play, but the fact that smugglers are getting something new is very exciting because I said multiple times, so did you, I want smuggler rebels to be their own archetype, and I want them to be a strong list. Alongside the rebel troopers, Luke, Leia, all that stuff, I want them to be their own thing within rebels that is different. And these sort of things are going to make them different.
Yeah, little weird effects, yeah.
Yeah, interacting with objectives in weird ways, interacting with deployment zones in weird ways, hidden, cunning, all these things. They just need to keep adding more of these to make smugglers even more unique.
I want more cunning. You know that already.
I want a lot more cunning, and then smugglers will be really good. So, hidden, we'll see where it goes, guys. We're hoping to see more about it in the news as well. Units that are going to have it. We'll definitely mention all the casts.
Let's move on to something a little more exciting than conditions. Let's talk about the new figures we're getting.
Yeah, let's start with possibly one of the most exciting.
Right? Oh, yeah. It's Big Daddy Lando, Smooth Man himself.
Big Daddy. Well, Calrissian Smooth.
Calrissian. Yeah. Bringing that red stripe.
Hello there.
Han. Han Solo.
I love the Han.
I do too.
Gotta save Han.
I need to introduce that into my vernacular. Just say Han for now.
Stop saying Han altogether.
I say Han a lot, but I need to say Han now.
Han, but
I'm willing to move to Han.
Lando knows.
So let's talk about Lando real quick here. He's 6 points, which is cheap. It's good value. He's a leader/smuggler. He's got 8 health, which is fantastic for the cost. He has 4 speed, which is fine. He rolls black on defense and green-yellow on attack, but as we're about to find out, that doesn't mean too much. He's got inherent +2 accuracy. He's got a surge for hide and stun.
Whew.
And he has a surge for +2. Costed this way, at 6 points, with the health that he has, these surges, these abilities are insane. Hide and stun is great. +2 is great. Inherent +2 accuracy is also fantastic. So let's get into what his abilities are. He has Resourceful, which is on attack or defense, you can re-roll a die. You pick one and re-roll it.
Very good.
Yeah, it's insane.
So really, every time he's attacking, every time he's defending, he's triggering this.
Yeah, ideally. It's super consistency, which is we've determined with the HK Assassin droids is fantastic. But it gets more exciting from there.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Gambit on top of that, which is when he uses Resourceful, he can replace a die with different die. So that means you can turn the black die into a white die, or the green or yellow die into a red die or blue die, or whatever you need at the time.
Oof.
It's fantastic.
So this is that gambling mechanic we're talking about, right?
Yeah, this is a little different than we expected. It's not as luck-based. It's just
It's
really
a little bit luck-based,
cool.
though, right? You could be fairly confident in your black die result, and maybe you're not going to die, but you're like, let's try the white. Feeling sly.
Yeah. I think Lando is a chameleon. For 6 points, 8 health, he accomplishes basically anything you need him to. He can be an up-close and personal attacker with red-green.
Sure.
He can be a distance attack with blue-yellow, or even double-yellow, shoot.
Right.
He can bridge the gap and do exactly what you need him to do at any time. He can defend with black if you need to, if it's a character that doesn't have Pierce. If it's a character that's doing absurd things, you can throw white even if you need to.
Yeah, if you really want to stun them, yellow, and just get that hide too, get a hide and stun off on somebody, and just be confident that that unit is controlled now. Grant, he seems like a much better costed and more evolved Dengar.
Yeah,
I hate to say it.
He's very similar to Dengar.
It's just like he can react,
Yeah,
a bit better than Dengar
6
can.
points is a sweet spot. 8 health on top of that is just great.
Right.
I'm super excited for him.
We're going to see a lot of him.
Yeah, and he's leader traded too, which is super exciting.
Ooh.
And again, he's got the smuggler trait too, so if that ever becomes a serious archetype,
oh yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, let's not forget about 3PO getting him focuses. All kinds of good stuff. I mean, just
that focus becomes any die you want.
I know.
Crazy.
I know. Think about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So Lando, super exciting. We mentioned how much we love the character, and we'd just like to see him be prominent in the game. And I think for this price,
this is definitely what he needs to be.
He's half the price of Han. Yeah,
Han's 12.
Straight at half. That's insane.
That's burned in my memory.
That hurts. But, and the +2 accuracy is nice because, I mean, on his worst day, on his absolute worst day, he's rolling 3.
Yeah,
accuracy.
roll green, red.
Yeah.
It's
good. That's 3 with the red. So, okay. I'm fine with
down.
it.
But let's not forget his command card as well. It's cheat to win, which is very in line with my philosophy in life.
Whoa. Very thematic of Lando.
When you use Gambit, you've changed your die. You get to pick the side it lands on. This is insane. So
this is where the white dice comes in insane.
It's a free X-Man. It's a free 3 damage. With a red die, it's a free... Whatever your best result is, whatever you need, it's great.
Yeah, it's free damage surge if you want that.
Yeah,
like,
or
to
surge
get the stun off.
damage. Or surge damage.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oof.
You can do whatever you want with this.
And if he's playing with Leia, she's bringing this card back.
Crazy.
She's bringing this card back for some control.
I don't know that this is quite as powerful as Son of Skywalker.
No.
But if you're playing Lando, you're playing his card. It's certainly better than Leia's card.
It's never going away, this card. If you're playing him, it's coming with him. Good stuff. So
he also comes with a skirmish upgrade. This is not an attachment. It's just a card that you include in your list.
All
it's
right.
0 cost. We know very little about this. From the text that we can see, doing some hardcore NCIS enhancing here.
Yeah.
Your list can only contain unique units.
Right.
And it has something to do with command cards. So immediately, as a Smuggler Box player, that's the noise that I'm making. I'm hyperventilating. I'm excited about this
I am
card.
too, Grant, because I want to play more Smuggler Box. Like, I want to play more Chewie.
Yeah. It's free, so I'm just throwing in the list.
If there's anything that benefits Chewie's card or Han's card or Lando's card, yikes. That's great.
I mean, command cards in general. If it lets me draw more command cards or it lets me search my deck, Lord forbid, Vader forbid, for a command card, we're done here.
Yeah.
This is insane.
So maybe this is FFG's way of fixing some of the overcosted heroes. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
some sort of upgrade.
Excited to see just heroes on board. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
So let's talk about the generic command card that comes with Lando as well. It's called Tough Luck.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1 point. Use when a character rerolls a die. Remove that result from the die roll.
Ooh.
So if people are using precognition or the HK ability or targeting computer, you can brick their die. It seems pretty good.
Yeah.
It just depends on how deep we see that in the meta. I don't know that that's enough now, even with Banthas everywhere and HKs along with them. It's 1 point, so you have to cut something to run it.
What's interesting about this card, Grant, is that it comes with Lando, but it's kind of a Lando counter as well.
Fair point.
It's the prevalence of Lando. We're going to see more of this card.
Yeah.
So that's relevant.
This is in the tier of card that is just too situational for me.
We'll see, though. Cower, too.
Actually, now that I think about
Cower.
it, does this work with you rolling their defense die with HKs?
Whoa.
Yeah, if I can make them reroll a white die and then remove the result, regardless of what it is, with tough luck.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
That's great.
Wow, this card might be better than I thought.
Some consistency, yeah.
Not only is it consistency, it's that heavy weapon card. But
well, and there's the Luke's card. I can feel it. Taking that away. Because I've actually run into a lot of situations recently, Grant, where I kill Luke outright, but then they have I can feel it, because it's more, consistency. And they reroll. Luke rolls an X-Man or something.
I mean, I definitely think it's powerful.
Just take it away.
Taking a die away is strong. How often that's going to come up, even if the meta is literally all HKs and Luke, I don't know that it's worth 1 point. I think negation is better than that, and I struggle putting negation in already.
Sure. It's just you don't want to put reactive cards, which I get, but maybe the game will evolve more in that direction where
I think
there's a lot of
cards
reactive
are fine.
Cards.
It's just the circumstances for those cards to come up has to be almost 100%, and I don't think we're there yet with this remote.
Time will tell with this card. I'm excited about the card either way. I don't think it's trash or anything like that.
If it works with the HK reroll and defense,
Oh.
I think it's much stronger in a list like that for sure, because then you have it guaranteed use for it. I think with the HKs, if it works with the HKs reroll and defense, then you're going to be including it anyway, because you can completely brick random results, and then have the side benefit of negating an attack die or something crazy like that.
Sure.
So let's talk about the people we don't know too much about. We've got their names, we've got their epithets, and we know their sculpts.
That's about it.
Yeah, so we can make some assumptions. We know their campaign stats, some of them.
Yeah.
Let's go with David Elso here.
David.
That's a cool name.
David, whatever.
Whatever. I'm down for it. Codename Hawkbat.
Whoa.
He's interesting. I think he's going to be sort of like a more mobile. Well, I say Diala because he's a Force user, but
she's very mobile as it is.
Right. I don't think he's going to hit near as hard as she does. I think he's going to roll blue, maybe red-blue on attack. Something less than red-green. I think he just runs around, swinging his lightsaber around. I think he's going to be spy traded probably.
Which would be cool. Force user and spy.
This is a spy pack, for sure.
I assume he ignores blue terrain as well.
I'm down with that.
Which 100%. Would be very legitimate with these with all the Hoth and Bespin stuff inevitably coming.
I think he's also going to have hidden. He seems very ninja-esque.
Right.
And I mean, he's blue and black colored, so that's also very I want to hide. Maybe he'll have a double action that gives him 14 movement or something insane.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes him hidden as well.
He definitely looks like a young Kylo Ren.
I agree with that.
And I'm going to paint mine like that.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure.
Because he's a completely made-up character.
Yeah.
You might as well paint him like a young Ben.
I think actually when I first opened the article and I scrolled down, I didn't read the name and I was like, Kylo! What?
Jedi Kylo.
We need to add some green stuff to that nose. Make it a little more pronounced.
Whoa. Okay.
Adam Driver.
Sure.
My man crush.
Whoa.
Next up, though, man, Ithorians finally came. We talked about how exciting Ithorians would be in the game.
We said we wanted Ithorian. Yeah. Both of us. And
I don't know that the awesome yelling is going to be implemented too much because this guy's a spy. Or she, I'm not really sure. Mern Rin. The sculpt is crazy for this, by the way. We've got a cane.
It's like a shaman.
Gun.
It's like a shaman spy.
Yeah, it's weird. Kind of like a senator a little bit, too.
Makes sense with the Ithorian lore. They're very religious. Their love of their planet and the earth of their planet, and they're very
I think this is going to be another Mac-esque card. I think it's probably spy traded, because again, this is the spy pack apparently. We're going to get some command card manipulation, I feel.
Right.
Probably slow, probably another support unit. I think control-y, for sure.
It's a control-y character here.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say about this character, but the sculpt is incredible. So.
Oh, yeah.
And to have an Ithorian, they're a favorite race of mine. It's just so great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
So guys, that's the Rebels so far that we've seen, but let's go ahead and move on to the Empire.
Yeah, let's speed on through and get to what we're really talking about here.
Hey, don't get me too excited, Grant.
Oh, I'm already there.
Yeah, let's get through this Empire, though, so we can get to the...
So for Imperial, the first thing we're going to talk about is Imperial Security Bureau officers, the ISB guys.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know too much about the elites, but we've got the generics down here. It's 5 points, spy traded,
Right.
Comes with 2 figures, which is interesting. It's 4 health, 4 speed, white on defense, blue-green on attack. They've got a surge for hide, a surge for +1, and a surge for +2 accuracy.
See more of that hide.
Oh yeah. They've got special action, which is coordinated raid. Another figure with, and this has no distance restriction, in your group, interrupt to perform an attack on a figure in your line of sight. Limit once per round. So I'm confused about this a little bit because it doesn't specify that they have to have line of sight on the character.
Right.
So if they're around a corner or something like that, I would imagine it still counts distance for the attack.
Oh, yeah.
To me, this just seems too crazy that they would do it where they don't have to have line of sight. So for now, I'm going to operate on the assumption that it has to have line of sight as well.
Right.
But that doesn't change too much for me. It basically means that you're paying 5 points for essentially 3 figures because the attack limitation is really what matters on the figure limitation.
Definitely.
So having 3 attacks on 2 figures is pretty strong.
And they were white, right? Which is
yeah, it's crazy.
Really good.
Blue-green is fine as well. Surging for +1 is fine. Hide is where the money is, though, because getting that guaranteed surge is pretty strong.
Yeah, they seem like really good kind of sniper guys in a way where they just kind of sit behind a wall or something and they trigger off of each other and shoot, and oh, it's great. Multiple attacks. Callus is a ISP.
Okay. I didn't know that, but I'm excited now.
Yeah, Callus is an ISB.
When we eventually get Agent Callus, I'm excited for that. I'm super excited for the elites of these guys. I imagine they're going to be like 7 to 9 points.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be Bugatti.
A lot more health, and they might have another ability.
If they surge for +2 is really what I'm looking for, though.
I could see them having cunning or something, too.
You know, I think we can actually see on their card whether or not they have +2. I don't think they do, which is disappointing, but I hope in my heart that they have +2 because that's Bugatti.
Well, it's all right.
They also come with an upgrade called Cross Training. This is an attachment.
Thematic.
Trooper only, yeah. The trooper gains the spy trait, and when defending, they may replace a black die with a white die.
Whoa.
I don't know. This may usher in the age of the 10-point elite stormtroopers.
Right.
That's the real test of this card's value to me.
Right.
Is how prevalent the spy cards are going to be. Again, this is the spy pack. We have already seen quite a few cards that trigger off of the spy trait. Command cards, especially. I don't know. I don't know if it's there or not yet.
I think the white dice thing is just viable enough. I mean, just to have a stormtrooper live and then move around a corner and then reinforcement another guy.
It seems strong. I don't know if it's worth a point, though. Yeah. It's definitely an option going forward, though, which is cool. If you have the point remaining.
So we got another card here, Grant. That's Data Theft.
This is a command card. In line with those command cards we talked about that are spy traded. It's 1 point. It's a special action. Choose a command card in your opponent's discard until the end of the round. Once you may use that card as though it was in your hand. It's cool. It doesn't work on quite a few popular cards like Set a Trap or Take Initiative or Reinforcements, but it does some cool stuff. Focus.
Right. Grenadier.
Oh yeah, Grenadier is Bugatti with that. The problem with this is you have to have the cross training potentially or be running running troopers and spies, which I'm not sure that's going to be a call yet.
Sure.
But
set for stun.
Yeah, negation.
Any of the heavy weapon cards. Lots of good things.
Who knows? You may play this in a Leia list. Copy their son Skywalker. Whoa. That's crazy.
That's too much.
That's definitely too much. I don't know.
That seems crazy.
I might try this.
Okay.
Now that I thought about this, let's do it.
Okay. Interesting card nonetheless. I'm liking these cards, Grant. They're very reactive. They're very interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very controlly. I like it. This is what I'm down for.
Yeah, we're both control players, so this is an exciting thing.
I want a spy smuggler archetype to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's the new archetype they're trying here. So but let's move on to the next guy.
The dude with the worst sculpt on the planet, but very strong.
Yeah.
Agent Blaze. He's 6 cost, spy, leader traded, 8 health, 4 speed,
8
black
health.
on defense. Oh yeah, it's great. 6 cost characters with 8 health, very strong. He's very much a compliment to Lando here. Green, yellow, yellow on attack.
Whoa.
6 cost, 3 die roller is crazy.
Oh yeah.
2 surges for +1, a surge for Pierce 2, and a surge for 3 accuracy.
Whoa.
But here's the crazy thing. Dad's got Adapt. What Adapt says is the first time an opponent uses a command card each turn, choose a spy or trooper, and they become hidden.
That's so cool.
So even on his own,
right,
he has a constant source of being hidden, which gives him a surge, which means these 4 incredible surge abilities that he has are going to be triggering.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. We said 4 incredible surge abilities. Let's talk about the 5th here. He's got a surge for Interrogate as well. Look at your opponent's hand of command cards. Choose one and discard a card of equal point cost from your hand to make them discard that card.
It's insane.
This is great.
This is like a rebel killer here.
Yeah. Assassination.
Rebels not want to see this. Scum wouldn't care as much, But
still, if you can pitch my Junglin Terror or whatever,
any list is not going to enjoy this.
Yeah, this is he's a utility-oriented, strong character. 3 dice on attack, 8 health is very strong for 6 points. He's got a lot of powerful abilities in general. I like him.
He's way better than Kane.
Tell me,
yeah,
what do you make of this?
Way better. Yeah, he's a scout trooper first, Grant, which we speculated about. We're excited to see. He has the sniper rifle, which is fantastic. So maybe now that we have him with the sniper rifle and these sort of control-y sniping type attack, that we'll get the scout troopers on the speeder bikes.
Let's do it.
One can only hope.
I'm ready.
One can only hope. If he's the main scout trooper, he should have his helmet on. It bugs me his helmet's off. It's fine.
Yeah, his sculpt is disgusting.
Those helmets are beautiful. It should be on. But, you know.
I mentioned this earlier. He looks like a tank or like a paladin.
Yeah.
Rather than like a sleek scout trooper to me. I don't know.
Well, you know.
It'll be all right. I'm kind of sad he's not trooper traded either.
Paladin. He looks like Uther, Lightbringer. Maybe
Dad, why'd you do this?
Maybe I'll paint mine like Uther. He'll be like a just Imperial, you know.
Yeah, for this.
For the light, you know.
Where's that true silver?
Or he's the Dark Paladin, you know.
Oh, he's the mysterious challenger.
Whoa.
6 secrets. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, this guy's great, Grant. I mean, once again, just like Lando, more health than his cost. That's great. Black dice.
He's very well costed. He's got a lot of powerful abilities. He hits very strong, which is the compliment to Lando being able to be so variable.
He costs less than Ningar and rolls more dice than Ningar.
Yeah, ridiculous. And he sort of has the built-in surge with hidden too. Crazy.
So we'll see where he goes. It's exciting to see Imperials have named units that are usable.
Yeah, this guy doesn't suck.
Yeah, I mean, or just overcosted, right? Vader doesn't suck, but he's just outrageously overcosted. So it's exciting. Yeah. We might see a guy pop into a list with troopers being a commander in there. Not
crazy.
It's great. So.
Or even just named Imperial list. Who knows? So his command card isn't terrible either. Espionage Mastery. 0 cost. When you use Interrogate, which again is the ability that lets you discard a command card to make them discard a command card, return the card to your hand and then draw another command card. It's 0 cost. Again, this is very powerful. You're going to be using this ability and you're going to be drawing more cards. It's great. Which again fuels that ability again.
Their card goes to your hand?
No. So the card you discard to make them discard
yes.
comes back to your hand and then you draw another card.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Again, this is very comparable to Lando's card as far as anytime you play him, you will be using his card.
Well, it's 0 cost, right? Yeah.
He also comes with a skirmish upgrade. This is not an attachment. It's 1 cost. It's called the Zillow technique. I did a little bit of Wikipedia research on the Zillow before this. Turns out the Zillow have impenetrable hides.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Palpatine researched the Zillow quite extensively, trying to master their impenetrable hide abilities. Didn't go very well for him because it turns out they're also very ruthless. It escaped. It did some damage. But, so, from what I can read on this card, it's got an ability to remove Pierce, and this is with no cost, it seems like.
Right.
So, for paying a point, you get some Pierce protection, but it also has what looks to me to be an ability that, while defending, you can discard a command card to, I think, maybe add a block. And this is limited once per round, which is insane. Yeah, for 1 point, getting a free block by discarding a card is great.
Yeah, they give you a lot of sustain and make the black dice more powerful, too.
Yeah, which turns out Imperial has a lot of.
Yeah, a lot of blocks, so Stormtroopers might be
a lot of black
not dying.
Yeah. The art for this is also incredible. It's Vader doing some kind of like kung fu.
Oh, that's great.
I'm down.
I'm into it too.
Okay.
Well, that's the Imperials.
Let's step into the
Let's take a breath. Here. Let's take a breath. So, we got to talk about Scum, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Or mercenaries for you people out there. Like call them mercenaries.
Yeah.
But
man.
Scum and Villainy is where they are. So, Scum's getting some good things this set, Grant.
Like we talked about a minute ago,
I'm so thrilled.
They get the best things in the pack so far. I mean,
sans Lando.
Lando is good, and so is Blaze, but I think these things are just crazy.
So let's start here with the generic Ugnaught. So it's Scum, Ugnaught Tinkerer. He has 3 points. He is a smuggler. That's it. He has 4 health, 4 speed, typical for Scum. He rolls a black. He shoots blue-yellow. His surges are Surge for Bleed, Surge for Pierce 1. Here's the good part though, Grant. He has an action that he can take on his turn. Place a junk droid in adjacent space. So what's a junk droid, Grant?
Well, so a junk droid is the coolest looking dude ever.
Oh yeah, he's a messed up astromech.
Yeah, we're getting new rules for companion figures. We don't know exactly the rules for them yet, but I also want to specify too here. It says place the junk droid, not a junk droid. It's 1 health, 4 movement, green on a melee attack with an inherent +1.
Right.
So the key things here are 1 movement, 1 health, and green on melee with an inherent +1. All those things seem very interesting. Basically, he's going to die to any attack. He has no defense die. He has an inherent +1, and the Ugnaught also has an ability that lets the junk droid use any of his surge abilities.
Right, so this droid can pierce, it can bleed.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I'm going to go ahead and preemptively say here that the 3-point cost generic Ugnaught is better than the 2-point cost generic officer that we saw dominate the game for so long.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think part of that is we don't know for sure if when you summon the junk droid, if it can activate then or not.
Right.
So the way that this works is the junk droids will activate as part of your group.
Yeah.
From then forward. But we don't know, again, we don't know the official companion rules yet, but I don't know if they'll come in being able to be activated or you'll have to wait around. I think they're very good regardless, but they're insane if you can activate them immediately.
Yeah.
So what that means is if you run 4 of these guys, which I think I'm going to be doing,
yeah,
you action to summon a junk droid,
turn 1,
move around or whatever, run away, but then the junk droid gets to go. He gets to move forward. And assuming you have 4 of these guys, you can swarm with these junk droids, which means they'll get to do something before they die because the opponent can't go with enough guys to kill all of them. And even if they do, that's fine. They've wasted 4 of their activation.
That's really the true merit.
But getting to move, attack, get into position with these junk droids is crazy. If they get to go...
I love it.
Yeah, if they get to go the turn you summon them, that means that the Ugnaught can stay farther back and be more of a control element that persists for a long time. But I'm crazily excited for these guys. They're insane.
It's so thematic too, Grant. Like the Ugnaughts just sitting back making droids and the droids keep coming. It's like, you know that anyone running Ugnaughts, it's just a fill-in unit in their list. Even if it's half their list, they got hard hitters on top of that. So you're fighting the hard hitters, like the HKs or the bounty hunters or whatever.
Or the Banthas even.
Yeah, and these guys are just spawning droids, and if you don't go deal with them, even if it's one droid, like we're saying, there's always another unit with them, which is a problem.
It will definitely be 1 droid per Ugnaught.
Yeah.
I don't think it could ever be multiple.
But still, it's 2 guys for 3 cost. Yeah. That's the case.
Part of me worries about, and I haven't actually thought about this until right now, since it says the junk droid, I really hope across multiple Ugnaughts, you can summon multiple junk droids. I hope you can summon 1 per. That's the interpretation that I had going into this, but now that I think about that it says the junk droid, I'm a little worried it might be just 1 junk droid.
Interesting.
That would be terrible. But if it's 1 per, that's insane.
I think it's 1 per because you're activating a Ugnaught and it's going. And you're acting a Ugnaught.
Well, just what throws me off is the junk droid.
Yeah, I think it's all right. What's exciting, though, this bringing a new mechanic into the game with companions, and there's nothing in Scum that costs 3 points. And I've run into many situations being a Scum player that you have 3 points or something, and you're like, oh, well, I got to take an upgrade and then move my Nexu up to an elite or something. But now it's like I can just get 1 more activation out, which activations are huge in this game, and it's 2 guys.
And it turns out
it's an Ugnaught
is actually very strong. Yeah.
Well, and it's like, even if this Ugnaught does nothing all game but sit by a terminal and spawn a droid and send the droid up to the enemy all game, I think he's worth it. Because he's holding a terminal, he's doing what Ugnaught does, and he's making droids. They might be dying, but whatever, they're blocking line of sight. The enemy has to deal with them because if they don't, it's at least doing a little bit of damage to them in theory. And these droids can control objectives as well.
We aren't sure about that yet, but I would imagine so.
I would imagine at least most of the objectives in the game.
The hugest thing for me is, so you're spending a 3-point cost unit's action to spawn this guy that doesn't take an attack to do this, so you can still attack with them. And it requires an attack from the opponent typically to deal with it, unless you're playing Banthas, which means you're trading
you're just wasting something.
Insane value. A 3-point cost unit, which you ideally will have multiple of, not even their attack, to steal an attack of another character. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they seem like more powerful Alliance smugglers or hired guns. Like in the sense of that you don't want to go ever deal with hired guns. You don't ever want to go deal with the rebel smuggler.
And
they're doing annoying things like taking terminals,
spawning hired guns.
Yeah, taking terminals, taking objectives, just running at you. Do I want to waste a focused character on a hired gun? No,
you don't.
Do I want to waste a focused character on a astromech? It's a crappy astromech. No, but it's so thematic, and maybe the droid list is coming sooner than we think, Grant. Maybe I can have my droid swarm that I want. We'll see.
Let's move on to the Elite Ugnaught Tinkerer here.
Oh.
We gained 2 points in cost. We don't know anything else about him, really. 5 points. He's got Pierce 2 is one of the upgrades that we know about.
It's a lot better.
Oh, it's definitely better. I think Pierce 1 is viable, but Pierce 2 is also strong.
Right.
What's super exciting, though, is what Spot Weld changes.
Whoa.
It's got a preface to summon the junk droid, and it's, in my opinion, the junk droid is detonated.
That could be it.
Yeah, we don't know for sure because we can't see all of it, but
Galactic
I think it's
News Network.
very in line with what his next ability is, which starts with Over. I'm assuming something like Overcharged Astromech or something like that.
Right.
And what I think this is going to do is it's going to make the junk droid a bomb. It takes an action to do this, but if you make the junk droid a bomb, it's very scum to me to do that.
Right.
Insane.
Yeah. It's like
And
a grenadier that you're getting.
Yeah, that you
outside
can
of your command
position
deck.
weirdly.
Yeah.
And that you can trigger it at your own pace with the Spot Weld and again summon another drunk droid at the same time seems ridiculous.
I hope this is a bomb, Grant. It'd be
Damn.
so thematic with Ugnaughts as well. They're tinkering and they're...
I'm almost more excited for
Hodgepodging.
this guy than the
next guy.
piece de resistance that we are going to discuss here. Not next, but I'm also very
It's
excited.
coming
for
up,
this guy.
though, Grant. You know what I'm thinking about Ugnaughts, though, Grant? I'm thinking about turn 1. Let's just talk about generic Ugnaught. Moving his movement 4 around a corner or something, spawning a droid. Let's say he doesn't get to activate that turn. Next turn, double move with the droid towards the fight or towards the terminal. Then move the Ugnaught up, take a shot, or make another droid if that droid's gone. Whatever it is, it's 2 guys that can be 2 different spots, but for 3 cost. And you never know if the Ugnaught's still alive, that second guy's always coming back. It's like a built-in reinforcements for cheap hired guns type
And we
guys.
know reinforcements are insane already.
So imagine like a free reinforcements as long as the guy's alive. And do they want to go deal with their Ugnaught either? It's another wasted attack, right?
Yeah,
Why would
it's
they want to go shoot a
ridiculous.
guy like that?
So imagine here that the Elite Ugnaught is what we've expected.
Right.
So think about the same thing you just talked about with this. So you move up the Ugnaught 4,
Right.
make a droid. The next time the droid goes 8,
Right.
and the same activation you go with the Ugnaught, you blow the droid up that's now moved 8, and then summon another one.
Oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm thinking about Ugnaught like by a terminal or around a corner in a weird spot where no one wants to go, and your army's kind of in front of him, and he's just like sitting there making droids, and the droids are coming around the corner and just keep going. You know, like he's farming a little Astromech army.
I'm insanely excited for this.
The
guy.
only complaint I have about the Ugnaught, Grant, is that we don't get a droid mini.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we had to buy multiple, I would. I don't even care
Oh.
to have multiple droids.
Yeah.
So we might be looking at some of those old miniatures from the old mini game.
Oh, I've seen some people buying some gonks already.
Yeah, there
Or
you
just
go.
random Astromechs just to use as this. I'm completely down with that.
Yeah, me too. Because we want that Keanu's dream.
Yeah. I think
All those droids.
now that we've talked about this guy, I will say again, I think this is an incredibly strong unit for Scum. I think it honestly might be a little too good in the way that I've interpreted it so far.
Well, just his point cost of anything. I don't think he's necessarily too good, but just Scum's
for
so
3
expensive,
points.
right? We're going to have so many more options to build with the 3-point guy.
I just think that all of this guy accomplishes for this many points is insane.
It's great. He's a support in a way. We've
Yeah.
mentioned.
Oh,
Like,
definitely. I'm very excited to play this guy now.
so it's exciting we're going to have. And his sculpt is insane. Like he has the Hydra spanner in his hand and just like his little bag. And he looks the best any Ugnaught's ever looked. That's saying a lot. So, you know, we'll see. But let's go ahead and move on, Grant, to the Scum Troopers.
Whoa.
Which we mentioned
Whoa.
we were hoping Scum would get. So we got the Cloud City generic wing guards.
Yeah, the Cloud City security officers that
Yeah.
we speculated about.
Yeah.
What do you know?
So there's 6 points. You can reinforce them for 2. And we think it's 3 figures.
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but there are 3 in the art.
It makes
The
a lot of
fact that
sense.
The reinforce is under 3 means that the elite will also very likely be under 3.
Right.
Or at 3.
But we don't know their health.
No. We don't know.
I can assume they were white. The guys have no armor. They're just like little guys in officer type clothes. I would assume they were white, which
If they're all white, that's insane.
great for Scum too, because more white's helpful for Scum. But you know, we can see 2 of their surges, right?
We can see all their surges on the generic, which is a surge for +1 and a surge for recover 1. Think that they will have 3 to 4 health on the generic, which is not enough to really make use of recover.
Yeah.
But
It's not, but it's more generic, cheaper guys flooding the board, right?
yeah, it's crazy.
But we do know their ability, right? Correct?
This is exciting.
So go ahead and take us away on this ability, Grant.
So their ability is called Keep the Peace.
Oh yeah.
Because they're standing guard here. When an adjacent space is declared target of an attack, and this is even if there are no friendly figures in that space. Again, this is kind of obscured, so we're kind of filling in the gaps here. So that means if they're attacking a door potentially near you, or if you get an objective that, like the Dianoga or something like that.
Sure.
You can suffer 1 strain to make the attacker also suffer 1 strain. Limit 1 keep the piece per attack.
I like it.
They're cheap units, so that means you spam the board with them, and they all trigger these strain abilities, so it's kind of more of a control element. It gives a little extra oomph to the strain from your Trandoshans, the strain from Boba, etc.
Definitely.
Or your command cards as well.
Well, Scum don't care about strain as much, right?
Oh, they don't care at all because you don't have the high value command cards.
Right.
And who knows, maybe we'll go insane here and import Leia into Scum.
Right.
To shuffle some stuff back in. Well,
sure. Whoa. See what happens.
I think it could happen.
So we have no idea what the elites look like for these guys right now.
No, not at all. We don't even know what their health or anything is. The more I think about this, the more excited I am for Leia and Scum because they're troopers, so that means you're running reinforcements and Grenadier. So those cards can be milled, or you're getting closer to Grenadier or reinforcements by milling cards. That Leia can just shuffle right back in.
Scum just having reinforcements and Grenadier is really powerful.
Oh,
because they don't have very many good cards except Sans Beasts. So beasts and creatures aside, the fact that Scum's going to have access to some of the best cards in the game, which are trooper cards, just for consistency and whatnot, it's really exciting. So,
oh yeah, I think it's going to be insane to import Luke and Leia. Oh man,
it's too much, Greg.
My brewing senses are bubbling away right now.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm brewing. It starts with our next guy,
Big Daddy B. Go ahead, and I know you want to talk about it.
Let's talk about my favorite guy here. Come on, Grant. So we've been talking about getting more of the bounty hunters, and the time apparently is coming. We got Bosk here, the Trandoshan master that he is. So he's 8 points. He's a hunter brawler, which makes sense. 10 health, Grant. Oh my gosh. 4 speed. A white dice. Oh, more white for Scum is just crazy. His gun is a red and green, which is very strong. He has an inherent block, just like Luke. Inherent 2 damage. Double Tusken here. And inherent 2 accuracy. And he only has 1 surge, only 1, but it's Pierce 2. Which is so powerful.
It's the best surge, I think, and that for a guy with inherent +2 damage.
He's sitting on, before you even get to his abilities, he's sitting on 3 accuracy, which is not terrible. He has to be close, but he's a hunter brawler, so that might benefit him with some of the cards.
And something like 5 inherent damage on his attacks. Crazy.
Like 4 is like his worst attack, right? 4 damage.
I don't know if is there a green die with 0 on it?
Well, there's 1. So 1 damage and then 1 on the red.
One from the red.
Yeah, so...
Which isn't going to...
But he could get a surge as well. So, I mean, even maybe one of his worst attacks would be like 4 damage and a surge for Pierce 2, which is still really good. Or he could go up to like 3 on the red dice plus those 2, so there's 5. And maybe like a hit and a surge. So like 6 and a Pierce 2.
Yeah.
Or like 7.
Bosk is insane.
That's incredible.
8 points for 10 health is already good. His speed's fine. White on defense is fine.
It's fantastic, yeah.
His inherent abilities are ridiculous. I mean, these are the best inherent abilities I've ever seen on a character ever in this game.
Yeah, he's got Luke's block, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got the Tuskens, how they have the +1 built in. He's got +2.
Yeah.
And he doesn't...
gun with
and it's a gun.
Green,
yeah.
With accuracy built in.
Yeah, the Tuskens actually have to hit people with the Gaffi. He's shooting people with this. So let's go into his abilities, Grant, because I think his abilities are just so thematic. And we mentioned in the speculation episode how much I wanted Bosk and how much I wanted him to have a possible grenade ability. So let's talk about this.
Dad's got his grenade launcher. It's not really a grenade, but...
It basically is, though, right? He's indiscriminate fire. So it's an action. Choose a space within 3 spaces, just like Grenadier or something, but this is within your line of sight. So it's a little bit harder to get off. Roll a green dice. All figures on or surrounding that space, so all on it or surrounding it, so that's a lot, suffer damage equal to the damage and strain equal to the surges on this green dice.
Yeah, Dad's shooting fish in a barrel, basically, indiscriminately.
What I love about Bosk here is he's slow, just like most Scum, but he's getting in position. And when he's in position, he's shooting his gun, and then he's doing his indiscriminate fire.
Yeah, when
after
Dad
that.
Gets in the fray, he's going crazy.
Or like a good boss player will probably do. Do the indiscriminate fire, quasi-grenade first, then top somebody off with the red-green, what's built into, and knock them out of the fight.
Or vice versa, whatever you need to do. It seems very strong. It also pairs, the strain again pairs very well, the wing guard.
Yeah.
And again, some things we talked about before, the growing strain abilities in Scum.
Yeah, so Boba's got the strain to move away from him, so Boba could be up in front if he wants to be, taking some hits, while Bosk is just back there popping them. The Trandoshans, which are definitely overcosted, but they give out strain consistently. We might see some more strain here, Grant. And Bosk just made strain a lot more real because he can trigger this once a turn, potentially.
Yeah, Bosk and the Wingguard both are very strong. And the fact that you can hit potentially 9 figures with indiscriminate fire, and that's potentially 9 strain, is absurd.
It's so good. But let's lastly talk about his final ability, which I think is so thematic and so good. It's obvious, Grant, that Bosk has no ability to recover, which is very notable because the biggest heroes we see consistently in this game all have recover. You know, Han and Chewie do not. If they did, they'd be a lot more better costed. Same with Vader. Luke and Leia do, you know, and Diala, some other heroes. But Bosk has Regenerate, which is very thematic Trandoshan ability because they can grow back limbs and stuff. It just takes months, but it takes time. They can do it. So at the end of each round, recover 2 health and remove all harmful conditions. All.
This is ridiculous.
So he's healing up and he's losing all conditions. So
this is, I think, the best keyword in the game.
Well, and this also gives some credibility to that double attack I was talking about with him, right? The gun grenade combo. It's kind of scary to put him up there and do that, but so what if he gets stunned or bleeded or damaged because he's going to heal it up? And if you're playing correctly, you're putting some generics in front of him after he makes that attack to block some line of sight as well. So he's staying around. And me and Grant have talked about this outside the cast as well. If Bosk gets really hurt,
just run him away.
Run him away, go to a terminal, chill out, have a cigarette. You know, he can heal up. He can sit back. It does hurt to have him not in the fray for how many points he is. But what's better? I mean, having a unit dead or having a guy sit back and heal up?
Having a guy sit back and heal.
So he could grab an objective and run away, move 8 away and heal for a turn or 2. Come back. He's grown a new arm, Grant.
Yeah.
He's got a new fresh lizard.
He's ready to shoot more people indiscriminately.
Now, Grant, we do not know Bosk's command card, and I think this is going to make me flip. I mean, the Twitter is going to be blowing up when we find out about his card. Don't worry. I'm going to be talking all about it.
I'm going to be blowing up when we find out. I think it's going to be something crazy.
I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be Son of Skywalker level. I don't think it will be, but I think it needs to be something where it's something along the lines of Mandalorian Tactics or something, right?
I think without the command cards and taking command cards into consideration at all,
yeah.
I think Bosk is better than Luke.
Whoa.
So,
taking command cards out.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Without Son of Skywalker,
sure.
Bosk is better than Luke. Sure. So I'm not really sure what his command card could be. Maybe it could give him movement. Maybe, again, like you say, it could give him an activation.
Right.
Maybe it could be something like survival instincts. There are a lot of different avenues we could take. We don't even have really a sneak peek at what the card does.
No, we have no idea.
We can't guess,
it could be a Biv-esque card because he's a Trandoshan and they're very ruthless and melee focused as well. So it could be something like shoot your gun, then perform a melee attack for free. This round you maybe have a block or something built in, and then, you know, like he potentially, if that was his card, he could get 3 damage dealing actions that turn because he could shoot, melee, and then, you know, do the indiscriminate fire. I think that would be very thematic with him. Just a spray of stuff. It's similar to Mandalorian Tactics in a way, but just more flavorful for Bosk. I don't know though. I'd prefer not be melee because I feel like he's going to go down a lot faster when he's real close. But I don't know. We'll see that. He's very ruthless bounty hunter, and he's known for that. So we will see what it does. Could be a grenadier type attack. You never know.
It could
like
be
he's launching the
grenade. Yeah.
Actually launching the grenade.
I feel like in my gut, it's going to be something recover related, like even more recover.
Yeah, like just heal up big time.
Yeah,
I can see that. Or maybe something strain focused. We don't know.
Yeah.
Give the enemies a lot of strain if you're a certain distance away.
What if it's related to their command deck? How many cards are in there left in the command deck? If their command deck is empty, I don't know, kill a character, something crazy.
Whoa, he's hungry.
Cash him in. I don't know. Again, we could go infinitely about what the possibilities.
Yeah, the point is we love Bosk. We're going to proxy him soon, before you even have his command card, after this tournament season dies down. I'm so ready to play him, Grant. You've seen my first Trandoshan I painted. I painted it just like Bosk.
Oh, I had that queued up too, man. Don't worry.
So it's so good. The fact that IGDA is not good and he's overcosted and that Bosk is correctly costed makes me happy because those guys are my 2 favorites.
I think he's aggressively costed. I'm very excited that Iggy and Dengar are not good in this game, but good in X-Wing, and it's the opposite for Bosk. Bosk isn't very good in X-Wing, but is insane in this game. I'm down with it. I'm happy to play.
It's like they've learned from their mistakes. They want to make people happy, and it's just You say it's aggressive cost, but we keep having this discussion, Grant. It's if we didn't know the extreme cost of every scum unit before this, and then the adequate price of most rebel units.
Oh, I think
we wouldn't be saying this as much.
Even in that realm, this guy is costed better than Luke. Like I say, I think Luke.
Whoa.
I think this guy's better than Luke.
There is credibility, though, Grant, to triggering recover easily on an attack like Luke can do, and then Son of Skywalker and doing that again. So, like, boss recover every round is great. I'm not discounting it at all. I think it's thematic and wonderful. But you have to get to the end of the round, and that's not as good as Luke's.
About Bosk here is that Bosk doesn't have to be in the fight to recover.
I do get that. So it's a flip of Luke's. It doesn't matter with Luke, though. He can be so far away and take a shot. You know, it's just, and the fact that he can do that twice in a turn with Son of Skywalker or three times with Leia. Luke's obviously way better. It's just, you're saying that he's going to be the scum Luke, which is so good.
Easily.
And Scum's had nothing like that.
Probably an auto-include in Scum for the foreseeable future.
Boba, we said, doesn't die, which is very credible, but he costs too much, and sometimes he just doesn't kill people. And that's a problem. So Bosk is going to be killing people, but more importantly, he's going to be living and rolling white, and just, it's going to be so exciting, Grant, to actually have a scum unit other than like the Nexu, who can actually roll X-Man and it be effective. And to be effective.
Again, I'm brewing a lot of really cool lists with these guys.
Definitely. Well, let's move on to some of these cards that possibly come with Bosk.
Yeah, the last couple cards that come in the pack here. We've got Headhunter, which is a 1-point unique attachment that comes with Bosk.
Right.
Again, this is very, very obscured, but from what we can see, it's got something potentially to do with command cards, maybe something to do with outside of an activation or during an activation, and then discarding of command cards. There's a lot of crazy stuff that this could be. Like maybe if you perform an action or a move outside of your activation, you can tap this card to make them discard command cards, and then you suffer damage. Or there are a lot of different assumptions you can make about this. All that I can say is I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be strong.
What I'm hoping about this card, Grant, is that similar to what we mentioned in the beginning of the cast, the heroic effort card. I'm hoping this is a bounty hunter version of that card, where it's going to make taking unique bounty hunters credible, or just hunters in general, which are all overcosted, right? Trying to shin hunters.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be more of a punishment card, because it's something reactive.
Right.
It's when somebody does something, you do something back to them.
But it is a hunter card, right? Or we don't know yet.
I don't think it is.
We could assume maybe.
Well, it is called Hunter, but I think I don't think it specifies who it can attach to.
Right.
I don't know, but it's exciting. We've got the first of 2 command cards here. It's Grizzly Contest.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 points, brawler only. Used during your activation to make an adjacent figure suffer 2 damage, and you suffer 2 strain.
I love it.
Yeah, I think this is going right in that Leia list I was talking about a second ago. Or honestly, any list with brawlers, because 2 unmitigated damage is very strong.
Yeah, when I immediately saw this card, Grant, I was like, Bosk and a lot of Tuskens.
Oh, Bantha.
And Bantha. I was thinking Bosk, Bantha, Tuskens.
The sick thing is that it doesn't take an action or anything. It's used during your activation, so you just slam 2 damage on somebody.
You just top somebody off.
Yeah, I'm going to move with the Bantha, go 13 spaces or whatever, 10 spaces, crush you in the midst.
Right.
Grizzly Contest as well, and then trample. And then I've just killed 4 of you guys. Good game.
Well, you couldn't move 13 in that instance, but still.
Well, that's why I said 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card seems very strong.
No, it's a very strong brawler card, and it's going to make brawlers move up. Wookiees will get a little bit better from this card, which is always good because they need to be better. But, you know, it's a good card. I think it's worth the points.
I kind of...
Free damage that's unmitigated is just, it's too good in this game.
It's definitely good.
So
after that, we've got Wild Attack, which is a 0-point card. This is a very interesting card. It's for any figure. Use when attacking to add a red die to the attack and a white die to the defense.
Whoa. This is a gamble mechanic here.
Definitely. I think it's going to be stronger on characters that it becomes a not gambling mechanic on. So the HKs, for one.
Right.
Adds a lot of teeth to them, for sure. Or heavy weapon guys that you're running the negate an X-Man card. I think it's in those lists, it's going to have a home. And then you're going to have fringe scenarios in those type of lists where you play it even if you don't have the X-Men mitigation, where it's just like, okay, if I have 2 more damage, I just kill you. So I'm going to play this anyway.
And this definitely seems like a stronger card late game than early game. Like, okay, this guy's about to die, but I'll only die if I get a little bit more damage.
I think it's definitely in the same way strong in the early game too.
Just wipe somebody that's unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Just when people are topped off, it's a lot more dangerous.
It's an interesting card for sure.
So I like it. It's thematic with the scum route we're seeing as well. So, you know,
it's not even scum related though.
So I know.
Bugatti.
Well, it's got scum guys on it, so there's that. Yeah. So
it's got the Tusken.
Oh man. But guys, that's where Bespin's at. just on this first article we've
That's
seen.
all they've given us so far, but
That's
it's
a lot
plenty to make us excited.
It's a lot to sink your teeth into, and there's a lot we're excited about. It's so much.
So we hope you guys are as excited about Bestman as we are, and that's very, very excited.
Very excited.
Not only is this news we didn't have before, so we are confident in the future of this game that we love, but it's very, very exciting news on top of that. We've been looking forward to Bosk and Lando and a lot of other these figures for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the prospect of an Thorian and, man, it's
another
awesome.
Jedi, more Force user application. I mean, just
Crazy.
Good stuff. And we haven't even seen everything that's in this box. Like
remotely.
No. And what the tiles are going to do and all sorts of good stuff.
The ISB have 4 unrevealed command cards.
Ooh. Yeah. Buff those Imperials some more. So we're excited about this, guys. But once again, we got to thank you guys. This episode was made in part by you guys at patreon.com. And
/Vader's Finest. We
just love it.
Yeah, definitely couldn't do it without you guys. But we're happy to continue this discussion with you guys on our Facebook page at Vader's Finest or on our Twitter page at Vader's Finest 501. We've been playing a lot of games lately. We'll be sure to take some pictures of us playtesting Bosk, post those on our Instagram at Vader's Finest. And then, of course, we'll be posting all this stuff on Team Covenant at Vader's Finest as well.
And you guys, if you want to help us out in any way, go to iTunes, give us a review. Write a review or just give us stars. The more, the better. We're trying to get a presence there and just get more people introduced to the show that have never heard it.
Will make more people interested in the game because...
Yeah. We're trying to grow this community as best we can. A lot of you guys have come out recently that have never heard us and have been telling us you enjoy the show. That's so exciting. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, we like to think we make a pretty convincing argument as to why you should be playing Imperial Assault.
Yeah.
So.
And if you guys enjoy this kind of content and you enjoy the game, go to our page at patreon.com/VadersFinest. Check out our reward tiers. Check out what we're trying to get right now. There's a lot of goals we have that we're still working towards. So many goals, right, Grant? And we're just at the beginning here. And the people that have pledged, it's so amazing, and we really appreciate it. And we got a lot of things to improve the show, get all this going, website, all sorts of good things. It might be a ways off, but it's coming.
It definitely doesn't feel like a ways off because the support has been immense and continues to grow every day. But make sure and hit us up with all the things you're excited about on Bespin and the things that we don't even know about that you want to see.
What sort of list do you think you're going to build? Let us know. There's so much going on with the game right now. We're about to be at the end of Store Championship seasons, deep into regionals, and then we got Bespin coming, I assume, right after that, Grant, in the summer. And we're just so much to look forward to. Who knows what the game's coming? It's so exciting.
It
could be.
It might have.
Jason.
Yes.
Read the pre-show.
Pre-show.
And know that I love you.
Pre-show.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Oh, God damn it. All right. Pre-show.
You love that man.
This is the MMO show, episode 30, recorded on Friday. What?
Does it sound like shit to anybody
Yeah, he
else?
sounds like ass.
I do?
Yeah, it was glitching out really bad.
I thought the beautiful dulcet tones of your baritone were awesome.
Go ahead, try again. It was probably just a glitch in Skype. Do it again.
Okay. Is this any better?
So far.
Pre-show. This is the MMO show, episode 30, recorded on Friday, March 11th, 2016.
Hello, podcast listener. My name is Islaine, and I'm the host of Couch Potatoes. Joined by my co-host Jewel, we take an unfiltered look at the gaming world, featuring viewpoints and opinion from all corners of the globe. We talk about what we've been playing, news and social issues that surround the industry, make fun of idiots on the internet, and highlight folks from our blogging community. Couch Potatoes is a weekly podcast with new episodes releasing each Friday. You can find our show at couchpotatoes.libsyn.com. We are also a member of TGen, otherwise known as the Gaming and Entertainment Network, where you'll find a multitude of high-quality shows. TGen can be found at tgenetwork.net. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy gaming.
Alright, party people!
We're playing as life allows and podcasting about it. It's the MMO show.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
No.
We ready?
Alright, ready?
You started!
Wahoo!
Say the MMO show again.
The MMO show. He says
The MMO show.
He always says it like really fast like that. Like he's racing to the end of the title. The MMO show.
I gotta get back to making these meatballs, because this is the MMO show.
Does that sound like?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're just being jerks. I think you sound just fine.
The MMO show. That?
Okay, now I changed my mind.
Yeah. As soon as I do say it.
It's like a Cardi throwing the show at everybody.
It's Mario Day. It would have been perfect.
It's me.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I think it's kind of good.
You wear it well.
All right.
Hey. How's it going, everybody?
It's going good, pal.
Good. Hey, did you guys know that this is the MMO show, episode 30?
I heard it was the MMO show.
The MMO show.
MMO show. Well, on the MMO show tonight, we have Brent.
On the MMO show. Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did.
Uh-huh.
You did.
What are you drinking, Brent?
Oh, I am drinking some Dr. McGillicuddy's blackberry whiskey.
What is that?
I went and looked for, I was like, I want a good sipping whiskey.
I think that's dangerous.
So I went there and I was like, man, those are really expensive for good sipping whiskey.
Yeah.
So I got the cheap shit that is flavored blackberry.
I mean, I can see in the in the video. Did you buy that today?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I opened it today.
You did?
Did you
Okay.
really?
That's what I was
Let's
getting
just say
at.
the bit pad.
Holy shit.
Pretty
Okay.
good earlier.
That
Oh
is
my gosh.
A lot.
Yeah, that is a lot
We're
of
in for a
emptiness.
good show, ladies and gentlemen.
We're in for an MMO show.
The MMO show. Oh, wow.
How about you? What did you have to drink? Well, let's see who picks up.
I have the Pinot Grigio. It is a Lindemans, and it has a screw top.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you playing a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go forbade us to do that.
I know, but I didn't want to be on camera. I need something there, and I can't be Mayor McCheese, so I'm gonna be Minecraft. So
Why not a fry guy?
I don't know. This is what I'm doing, people. It's something to watch.
Hamburger.
I
I
guess.
think she's racist against fry guys.
I'm only chopping down trees, though, so it's not like a big deal.
Or she could be like those chicken nuggets.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. Those are
They would dunk themselves.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
It was like cannibalistic almost.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Let's prepare.
Now, is that just a
myself.
copy of like the California grapes? Or
It could be.
It might have been.
Remember those guys
I think it was
get big?
post.
They were
you mean the raisins?
Yeah, they were creepy.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they were.
Well, I watched the fat ones that turned into grapes.
Yeah, they were the babies, weren't they? I mean, they were technically babies. They did like a very Mork and Mindy-esque Mork from Ork reverse. They got like, they actually got, wait, no. I'm saying this wrong.
I have no idea what you're talking about anymore.
So confused right
Yeah.
It was because they got smaller as they got older, right?
Who are you talking about? The chicken?
So this is the
But that was
MMO show.
All right, we clearly don't know anything about chicken nugget commercial marketing schemes from the 80s. So let's move on.
Yes.
Because I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Well, because I'm right because
Now you make me hungry.
Mork and Mindy.
No, I
If
know
you
the
remember,
Mork-
Jonathan Winters came in and he was a baby, but he was a full-grown man. They actually aged in reverse.
Yeah, I got that part, but
So
I
it's
don't
kind of
know.
like
I don't
I mean,
understand.
California raisins, when they were babies, they were bigger.
I see what you're trying.
Oh, because
I see what you're trying to say. Yeah, I get you, but there's a long way to go.
It was too smart for your audience.
It was. It was just not. It was not worth the effort. I gotta be
No,
honest.
probably not. That's for sure. Jason,
Hello, MMO show.
what are you drinking tonight, sir?
Right now I'm drinking Bud Light, but I do have to say we went to dinner and I had a Acadia Pale Ale
You did.
in a boot, and I got
Like a
to
boot
keep the
glass?
boot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a plastic boot.
I had
Yeah, it's
one.
like
Did you have to turn it and stuff so it didn't like?
Yeah, like when I would like tip it to drink, it was all these like weird air pockets happening in the glass.
Why did?
Shot.
Is that a thing?
So-
like, why do you?
Yes.
Why do you want?
The German place has that here, and you've
Yeah,
got
so
to
we went to a
learn how
German beer hall to get it. Yeah.
You got to turn the boot as you drink it.
Why do you want to drink out of a boot? I don't understand this.
Das
Something to do.
Boot.
Das Boot.
Yeah, that's true though.
I have a glass boot that I got from when I was down in Nashville, Tennessee, at
Very
the
German. Very German.
Wild Horse Saloon. No, it's a cowboy boot
Oh, I got you.
because there was some honky tonk ass shit going on down there.
I have.
Yup.
Yeah, I have an old shot glass that's shaped like a boot from a country bar.
Yeah?
I guess. Yeah. So
Hey,
I don't know.
honky-tonk.
People like to drink out of glass boots. Facts is facts.
It's the thing.
So I forgot it. I got to keep the boot, and then I we left and I forgot it, and we were like getting in the car, and someone knocked on the window, and it was the waiter. Like, you forgot your boot. Like, oh, okay. And it's one where I can bring it back to the restaurant and get like cheaper beers, and I was just thinking, like, I'm not going to be
Nobody's ever gonna.
honey, is my boot in the car?
You should just keep it there.
Nobody's ever.
Right? The alcohol will kill the germs. So just
They
keep
washed
it in
it
the
for
car.
him.
Yeah, they did. He washed it because I had been done. So when I got home, I put it like in the cupboard, and I just was thinking, like, every morning I want to just fill it to the brim with milk, and then just be like, I gotta drink all this milk. And as soon as I chug it all, I just complain about how much milk I drank, and that's gonna be my morning ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
It'll be funny to me.
Great idea.
That's what he's
You're gonna
doing.
do this in the kitchen. You know it
Yeah,
goes
like-
really good with a glass of milk.
I'm just gonna stand there like next to the sink, and like when my kid bugs me, I'm like, no, Dad's drinking his milk, and shoot the boot, and then just complain about how much milk I drink.
This is why I don't leave work early. This is all we do.
And then I'll bring it back to get refills, and it will be so like stained with milk that it'll be like
Aw.
a kind of white film all over it.
That's gross.
That's really gross, man.
They'll be like, do you want me to clean this for it? No. Just put the beer in.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I haven't watched this ever.
Go up to the guy that gave it to you. Remember that last time when you ran out to the car? Can we do that again?
I left it on the
I'll
table.
pretend I left it here, and you can run out to me.
Good God.
It was
very like some dirty dancing.
So that was our lunch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, what about dinner?
We just hang out here because we went out for a big lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was really nice out today here, and it was sunny and beautiful, and so it was a little chilly, but not too bad. And I told my boss, like, Jason's like, come home, like, I'll get off
'Cause
early,
I had the day off.
we'll just hang out, you know. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool, but like, I can't think of a reason to leave work. Like, once you're at work, you can't just like all of a sudden like have to go home. You know, you have to have a reason. So
Diarrhea.
I couldn't think of anything that like was believable
I shit myself.
on a sunny Friday.
Get you out every time.
So I just told my boss, like, I was like, look, I can't think of a lie, and I just kind of want to go home. And she laughed, and like, she's like, go home. She's like, that's awesome.
As she's writing up the pink slip. She'll
No,
find this
she's-
funny Monday morning.
She was cool.
Oh, she should have just pulled the diarrhea out. I don't know why she told me the truth. Diarrhea works all the time.
90% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
All
right. We doing
so,
this?
back to MMOs.
The MMO show.
I'm drinking Di Serona, by the way.
Oh yeah. What are you drinking?
Not root beer?
Nope, not root beer.
Sorry, Steve.
It's okay. Don't worry about me. I just want to talk about
Did
MMOs.
the guy at the store stop selling your root beer?
No.
Okay, sir, I can't.
You know there's alcohol in this, right?
I can't sell you root beer or ice cream anymore.
I did have we had bought root beer and ice cream to make root beer floats, and I had a little bit of like regular root beer, and I was like, man, I forgot that there's root beer that doesn't have alcohol in it.
This root beer is not making me feel good.
No, there's a lot of calories in this.
See, root beer needs to come in a boot.
It should.
It just
Boot
feels
beer.
booty.
Apparently, we need all of our beverages.
A little bit of ice cream in there.
all the
Boot beer.
time. Why did they settle on a boot though? Like, why a boot?
Boots.
Why not?
Well, in the olden days, if you didn't have a cup, you just pulled off your boot and filled it with your favorite beverage and just sipped out of it.
That's not true, and that's disgusting.
It's absolutely true.
That's pretty gross.
I think it is true though.
I think
Yeah.
it does sound true, and it's disgusting.
There's the whole like kind of betting thing where people would like bet someone to actually shoot a boot like a beer in their actual shoe.
Ugh.
There's a fly in my boot.
Yes.
All right, man, he's got to drink a lot of that.
He has. He has.
Yeah.
I've tried drinking out of a crock before. It didn't work out.
A crock? Like a crock
It just
pot?
goes everywhere.
No, I think he needs like
It
a
goes
shoe.
everywhere.
Like the shoe.
Like a sandal.
A crock. I get it now. That's
It
funny.
took a minute, but it got there.
Uh-huh.
I was like crock pot, and I'm like, that's a big.
That's a lot to drink.
Let's talk about some MMOs, shall we?
All right.
Shall we? Shall we?
All right.
What MMOs have we been playing, ladies and gentlemen?
Why don't you guys? I don't know. Brent, what you saying?
I've already been spoiled about what's about to drop in this section, so I'm gonna just let it happen and go. And
I don't know what you're
I'll talk
talking
later.
about.
Just let him go.
I'm just gonna sit here and listen.
All right. What
No. I want to hear Black Desert Online. Your experiences.
I love the game. It's the best game ever.
It is. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Okay, so let me ask. The last I checked in with you, you were way higher level than me. What are you at right now?
I actually kind of stopped leveling. That's one of the things that I found that was crazy about this game. Like when I get into a new game or an expansion for an MMO, I'm like, okay, let's get to the end game so we can start raiding and play the real game. Right?
You bang out levels and that's it. Yeah.
And this one, I kind of did that until mid-20s, and then as I was kind of doing stuff, I was like, man, there's a lot more to this game, and I started just doing kind of that other stuff, and I didn't feel that urge to just pound ahead to the end, and so yeah, it's kind of just playing all the different aspects of it, and every day there's something new that I'm like, I haven't even delved into chopping trees down.
Right.
I get experience for it too. So.
Yeah,
the game is content rich as hell.
It's insane. So that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, because when I kind of I would think I was level 10, and I looked and you were late 20s. Were you just banging out combat stuff at that point, in the beginning?
For the most part, I would just go to, and there's guides all over the place of okay, here's where you go to level up, and I was just okay, let's do this, let's get to the end. And so I'd go kind of to the area and get all the quests for there, and then just start killing because that's one of the cool things as a wizard. You're not just a fireball, I'm gonna drop a meteor and kill 10 guys at one time, and it's just some cool things like that. But then it's just as I got into, I forget where the turning point was, but there was just, see, I don't want to spoil parts of it though.
No, you go ahead.
Well, no.
No?
But
No.
There's not much to spoil with the game.
Well, it's just some aspects of visuals, what you come and see. I didn't even know some things were in the game, and when I got there, I was like, oh, this is badass. And so I don't want to drop that, and then you get there and be like, oh, Brent told me about that. So I'm not going to say it.
No, the one thing that, and this, I don't think this is a big spoiler, you just kind of said you had the ability to kind of just drop a fireball on a city in chat, and that sounded really cool.
Yeah, you get an ability called Meteor. And
Okay.
you just this huge thing comes down and
Yeah.
and whatever's in that area, it takes a crap ton of damage, but it's not they don't worry about that. They're just yeah, whatever, you're a badass, go blow shit up. That's cool.
Yeah, totally. That was I had kind of I got so sidetracked with doing all of the city management trade stuff, which is awesome, that there was a point where I had to force myself to kind of go back to combat. And it was a nice change up to after a while of kind of oh yeah, the combats are really unique in this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I went, I did that for a while, then went back to the city stuff. But
yeah, I found that if you get real tied up with either the crafting or the node management or the trade route stuff, and then you go back to the combat, like you said, you almost have to reteach yourself to a degree.
Yeah.
Because there are so many skills, and they're all based on the same just handful of keys, but in different combinations. That if you are using the combo system like that, and not the more traditional hotbar MMO play, then you kind of have to retrain yourself a little bit to remember all the special abilities that you have. And I think I'm 21 now, and I'm still unlocking new abilities, so it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I tried to stick with 3 main abilities that I've got my rotation between those 3 down pat, and then sometimes I'll be oh yeah, what does the F key do, and hit it and go, oh yeah, it does that cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how they pop that in when you don't actually use it to give you a refresher or tip on what to do.
But
Combos are amazing.
I don't know. It to me it's really different from all the other MMOs that I've played. It has a lot of feel kind of to EverQuest. There's that you can just go kill crap to level up and not worry about questing if you want to.
Yeah.
But you can go do quests and there's I don't know. It's just there's this thing where you turn around a corner and there's something and you're just like, oh my god, like why did they put that in there? Like I did this quest today. It was the first time I seen it because I kind of passed through it the first time on a different character, and it's like a newbie quest, and the guy's like fighting with some little kids, and I don't want to spoil it, but he like says some shit to the kids, and I was just cracking up because it was just funny.
Is this the guy standing there, not even watching the kids attack him, and he's deflecting all their moves?
Yeah.
There's some really weird, like character writing stuff, and some of it seems like weird translation stuff, and some scenes are really purposely out there. Like, have you guys noticed in that first city where, like, if you're kind of down by the bank manager or whatever, you just hang out, you just hear this girl NPC just repeatedly talk about like someone. It almost sounds like someone is really harming her.
No, like, are you talking about the storage manager in Velia?
Yes.
Okay, there's a girl there. I don't know if she's technically a girl or a woman because there's like the same character model that's used for these like I don't know if they're like kind of an elvish or gnomish character, but they're actually not that young. But there's a giant standing there working on the building right next to you. That's been something people have complained about, that she doesn't. That's the same dialogue over and over, and they never shut up.
Yeah.
But she's saying, do it better, and she's yelling at the guy to do a better job working on the building.
Hot.
Yeah, but yeah,
There
depending
are
on how
some
you're
bugs
taking
in
it, if
the
you don't
game.
quite
I mean-
hear him, it sounds kind of dirty.
If you have no idea what's going on, it sounds filthy. And he, like, I was like looking around, like, am I supposed to help somebody? Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weird stuff like that in the game.
The game is so fucking weird, and there's like parts of me that want to find out more about the lore of it because there's enough interesting stuff that's there, but then the actual voice work sucks so bad that
it's awful.
It
I
is
don't want to listen to it.
absolutely terrible.
But there's some weird shit going on in that game that it's like, I don't know if there was a lot of thought put into stuff that's going on in the game, or if it's just somebody was having fun with it. Like, I just went to a new town last night, and I think it's called Glint, I think. But it's this kind of like small village, like around some swampland. And you go in there, there's one building that you can go down into the basement of it. I think it's a church. But anyways, you go down into the basement of it, and there's a bunch of like jail cells. And there's these weird creatures I have not seen in the game yet. They look kind of froggish looking, but they have like this white and purplish skin. But they're like all dead, and there's some laying on the floor. There's dead ones in the jail cells, and then you walk in this room, and there's one on like an examining room table, dead. And there's an investigator, like his title over his name says investigator from so-and-so or whatever, standing there, and you start a conversation. It's like, yeah, I had to get down here and find out what was going on or whatever. And it's like, yeah, what the fuck is going on? Like, I want to know, but I don't know how I'm going to find out.
You just got to keep, like, it really is like that much, like, so you've got to like talk to people, and even people that don't have like question marks over your head, and you'll find like, they'll say, go talk to these people.
Totally. Yeah.
And you build this story that it's just, I don't know. It's
no. I was telling Shannon the exact same thing when I was playing like last weekend. I have paid more attention to this. Like, there's not. I mean, there's stories in there, but not like the overall story seems kind of garbage. But like I have not, outside of Old Republic, which is super story dependent. Like, I'm having to pay attention to how NPCs relate to each other in this, and I have to, because if you don't, you might lose out and stuff. And I like just that the random kind of conversations I am piecing together and remembering people more, like characters more than I have in MMO in a long, long time.
Right, and it's not to say that you can't go through the game and ignore all that stuff, but it kind of builds a more interesting experience.
Well, and it also, like, they've really done, and I don't know if brilliant is the word, but it feels like it, like, they'll do these things where there's a quest where it's like, hey, go to this spot if you follow the, like, quest crap.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't really, like, read the text, like, it's really a cave underneath you. And so, like, if you don't know, like, where to go, you're sitting there like, I don't know. I don't see anything here and whatever. And then you find there's this huge cave system that you got to go through. And they'll hide these secrets, like the jumping. There's actual jumping puzzles in the game.
Yeah.
They're kind of few and far between, but they are there. Quests that make you jump on stuff and get to different places. And they actually have, now I've only seen, I think, 2 of these, but they do have quests that diverge, like where you've got to make a choice. And if you make one choice, you can't do the stuff on the other side. So like those kind of things, like I had to sit there and go,
I see. I don't think I've ran into that yet. That's interesting.
And it's on the main storyline, so I know you'll hit it eventually.
Okay.
But it's just like you got to make a decision, and it's kind of a big decision. So I don't know, and I don't know if I picked the right one yet. So we'll see.
The thing that I'm like, my love-hate with Black Desert right now is I oddly love the fact that it's so much more of a pain in the ass to do anything in the game.
Yeah.
It takes so much more time, like even to the point where like the quests, if you break them down as to what you're actually doing in a lot of the quests, it's nothing too divergent from what we've had in other MMOs, but because of the mechanics in the game and because of how you have to do everything, they feel far more involved. Like everything seems like more, not like of a quote unquote quests in the fantasy sense, but it seems like a task. Like this is the thing you have to go do now.
Yeah,
and
you're in a world doing stuff.
Yeah, it feels like there's jobs to it, but there's also with the combat and with a lot of the other shit that's world building, it feels like you're just in this persistent area that I can't seem to not want to be a part of. But on the flip side, the thing that I fucking hate, and I'm like, it's what's really irritating me, is the whole fact that there's not a lot of change in the way you look. The character creator was touted so much, but that's like the main thing that makes you look any different in the game. Like there's not a lot of armor variation unless you buy it off the Pearl store, and that's kind of a bummer to me. That
was something I noticed after playing for a long time. Like I still look like a kind of broke ass wizard after a while. There was no change in
I saw Brent standing there fishing AFK the other day, and he still looks at like whatever 30 whatever level you are, he still looks like a broke ass wizard.
Yeah, I do. Well, I got my Beauty and the Beast rewards though, so now I look like a crappy broke ass wizard in leather.
All right. All right.
But yeah, no, you're right. That's one of the things, and that's a lot of people are up in arms about the cash shop stuff because it
can actually
being a
see myself
$30 game.
Right, I can see myself buying a outfit for my character, but not at that price. I'm enjoying the game enough. I actually do want to do something like that and try to make myself look different and maybe get that smidge more enjoyment out of playing my character, but not for those prices, man. That sucks.
Well, and it would also be different if they had 50 different outfits and not like 3 for your
right. And that was kind of weird too, because I remember from just like the pre-release character creator, some of the armor options that were there, I thought a lot of those were supposed to be from the Pearl store. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's ones that were in there that I really liked for the Tamer class, which is what I'm playing, that aren't available right now. And the one that is, or the 2 that are available, I don't like. So.
Well, then you just got to 20 and got your pet.
20, yeah, I'm 21 now, and I did just get my Hai Lang, the pet for the Tamer.
So and that's one thing I wanted to know is the class is it like a paradigm shift now that you have your pet, or is it just there?
Not as much as I thought it would be. I think it's going to change more later because the thing with the Tamer pet is you don't get it until 20. It's an automatically learned skill that you get, and then you can summon this pet which is a big cat monster thing that fights alongside you for, I want to say 3 or 4 minutes or something like that, and it's got like a 2-minute cooldown, so you can always keep it up if you want. And it right?
God damn it, baby.
I'm listening.
Yeah, she is.
Oh man.
You can
And plant.
It automatically fights alongside you. There are some abilities that when you use them, it kind of does different things based on what abilities that you are hitting. Later in the game is what I'm now excited about, because I think it's in level like 43, 45, something like that. You get the ability to ride on the pet. And then cool. As you're riding on the pet, it will do different attacks. It will, like, what you're doing, you're making the pet actually do the attacks, and it's more powered up because you're on it, etc., etc. So I like the dynamic of it. I started playing that class purely because of just the way the combat felt in it, or playing it. It's just a very high movement. You can evade a lot. The move set just felt really authentic and neat. I like it a lot. So,
and it's there's some really weird things to the game, like you can have multiple characters, and they share a lot of the same stuff, like bank space and things like that. But one of the things that they kind of share and don't share is your pool of points, energy points. So you rack up 60, 70 energy points to do stuff with. Well, your alts have that pool, but they accrue at the different times. So it benefits you actually to make alts and then just let them sit there and accrue the points. So when you're fighting in an area, you just go into the map and you pump up with all your alts, points, and energy into that section where you're going to be farming.
Really?
For points, because you'll get more loot and better loot. And if you have the nodes all connected, back to your wherever you're selling and stuff like that, which is
right.
It's just a weird aspect of the game, and it takes watching like videos and tutorials to like figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I typically like soaking into a new MMO and just kind of figuring out as I go. But this was probably the fastest I ever went online and started looking up guides from people like, how the hell does the whole node system work? And certain, I think that the crafting in the game is like almost too cumbersome. Like, I like how hard a lot of the systems are, but some of the stuff with the crafting seems super, super cumbersome.
I've cut down a tree and fished. That's it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I didn't do really any searching outside the game, but after a while, after, like we said, talking to random NPCs, they kind of told me how to do stuff, and I felt a grasp of it, and then when I logged off and then came back the next day, it was like, wait, like, it was almost like I was in a dream. Like,
yeah, what the hell?
How do these systems work? Like, what did I do?
I will give the game a shit ton of credit, because I had already looked up a lot of stuff going in, because I kind of would get on one night and go, okay, I'm seeing everybody talk about this, so I want to figure out what the hell this means, what this is, and how I do this. So I went and looked it up. But then, to the game's credit, if I wouldn't have done that, the game actually does a pretty fucking good job of showing you, as long as you're doing the quests. If you stay around in Velia long enough, that whole town, if you stay there long enough, it will show you pretty much
they
what
teach
you need to do.
Tons of stuff.
Yeah. So
what do you guys think so far of? And you guys are further than me, and I'm still in that first area, and I'm liking the travel system, because it's making me. I was telling Shannon, like, this is the first time, probably since Dark Age of Camelot, where I at this point I know my way around an area, because I'm forced to. But you guys are further than me and traveling farther. Is it becoming an issue, or do you like it?
I like the traveling thing. But I know the map, I think, better. Like, physically moving through the environment, I don't know that I do, because I rely on the whole, like, auto run so much. Like, I will set my destination, hit the key, and just let my character run there, and I'll go run off and take care of something, and then come back, and she'll be standing wherever I pointed her to. Usually for, like, trade run stuff, I'll say, okay, I'll pick up the shit, and then I'll tell her to go over here. I'll let her do the run, And then once I'm there, if I need to go AFK again, I'll throw her towards the nearest body of water so I can AFK fish and then go do whatever I need to do. It's a game that I think is great with both like the amount of time you want to put into it, and it's also great because you can just kind of AFK and do shit too. So but I don't mind the traveling, and as like I said, I just got to Glint, which is like the first town they point you to past Heidel, which is the first town past Velia. And I'm trying not to push too fast through the game to like explore, but like even this like third or fourth town in, I'm feeling like the game seems big. But yeah, the traveling thing is neat to actually have to physically go to the nodes to unlock them and make that investment physically that you've been there.
Yeah, I'm noticing it totally. I know so much more now just about the environment, where if I had skipped through it, like so many MMOs where I just jumped through stuff and I had no real orientation to what the land was. In this one, I know a lot more.
Well, they did a really good job of doing that kind of duality of, well, you can, just fish and go away, or like you said, auto run. But in most instances, if you're there's a bonus. Like if you're there controlling it, well, you can sprint, you can run faster.
Yeah. Or you can do a shortcut. Like there's a lot of times that if you turned a little bit and ran, you're going to cut a lot of time off your auto run.
Yep. Or if you're there actually fishing, you're going to get like 4 times as much fish or 5 times as much fish.
Yes. Yeah. I had a hard time. I would do auto fishing a lot. Like I'm going to go away, and I would kind of keep coming back to the computer. Like, no, I'm gonna reel this in. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
yeah. And
I see the fish symbol. I got to do this.
The other thing I think they did just an amazing job with is just the ambiance, just the setting, just everything around you feels living and right. Like a castle feels right, a keep feels right, like buildings feel right, like where they are in the space they are.
Yeah.
And it's like going to a town outside, there's a guard there. It's kind of a marshy area. He's wearing different shoes than the other guards, like in another area. And it's just like these little details to make you feel like you're really in a different area. They did an amazing job.
Talking about those guys with the big like snowshoe looking things on their feet.
Yeah. And it's just like, what? Like, why do they have that?
One thing I was impressed with was the parkour type movement stuff. In the cities, trying to climb building, that's fine. It can be awkward at times, but the thing I liked was when you were out in the environment, and if you saw like a rise of land or a kind of big fence, so like in other MMOs, you'd have to run around it and do all this, and like I was really pleased with how many times I ran up and like, is it going to let me vault this and keep going? And like almost every time it did. Like I was able to kind of easily, that helped me kind of get around stuff that in other games it would not be more of a pain.
Yeah, and like with a horse jumping over, just like, leaping over that crap, right? Like, I don't know, they did the horse really well. Like just the movement, how it does, the abilities that you start using, like they're difficult, and to like pull stuff off is like hard to do. And I still don't do it right, and like I'm having to actually learn these abilities.
Or taking a horse into a little kind of village area, it was too unwieldy, and like no, like I have to get off Slurms and park them over there.
Did you call it Slurms?
Yeah.
Well, and just the whistle. Oh my God, how many times do I just blow the whistle to watch my horse run towards me and run up to me? Oh my God, it's just like, I don't know. I just like these little things. Like watching a sunset, like they really did such a good job with the weather. Like, have y'all been in a rainstorm yet? It sounds and looks amazing. Like, it's like, I've not seen this in an MMO. And they're doing events. Like, they have a bunch of events going on right now. If you don't go to their website, you don't know, but like there's a video competition, there's a guild screenshot competition, and there's another competition which is just a screenshot on a mount. You mount anything, a boat, a horse, a mule, a wagon, and send in a screenshot, and you could win a title, or you might just get a title just for doing it, kind of stuff.
Neat.
So I like that they're putting that sort of effort towards it.
Yep. But yeah, definitely this is my hotness for now. That's what I've put most of my time into. This is my MMO.
Yeah, I don't know where the end game is, but I'm enjoying kind of getting there at this point.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, because Shannon has been noticeably kind of quiet. What have your impressions been?
Please don't make me play that game.
Do you not like it?
I really don't like it.
Wow, really?
I understand all the things you guys are saying, and I get
now for the rebuttal.
No, and I don't disagree with any of it, but it just I don't like it. It's just I don't like any of it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in that world.
Your impression has not been good.
No, it just doesn't. It doesn't click with me, and that's all it is. There's nothing that I can point to and say that's wrong or that's wrong. It's just I don't care about my character. I don't want to engage. Like all the people in the quests are just awful. I don't want to have to do any of that. And that stupid black,
pretty awful.
That black little sprite that keeps following me around. I don't want to do anything that stupid thing says.
Yeah, that thing's really bad.
That thing is horrible.
One thing, and you guys are further than me. They do get into some interesting kind of like personality stuff with it, where you can kind of disagree with it.
Look at these teeth. Like what the hell is that?
There have been a couple things, and you guys, I'm sure, Steve and Brent know more than I do. There was like a little tease of something to me where, okay, maybe there's more to that storyline of what's there initially, and I don't know. But yeah, I didn't like it at first.
Done with another part where it's talking about how you don't have your memory, and it seems like you have an agreement with him from before.
He tells you have an agreement with him, but I
don't
give a crap. I don't remember.
Like it seems to be like there's some not good shit going on, and you're following along to get all your memory and strength back. But I actually kind of like it, even if he turns out to be this awful thing.
I totally get that you guys like it.
I like it more if it turned out to be an awful thing, because I hate it. And it was, as soon as I saw that, like where I could disagree with him, I was like immediately way more, because I hated that thing at first too.
Yeah, I have a feeling like even if it's bad, I think it's just ultimately going to be this thing that it's only the worst thing is that it's using you to get stronger itself.
It's just storytelling.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the things that helps me is I actually don't wear my headphones much.
Yeah, the sound is really bad of it. I don't like it at all.
And I know that he was kind of like part of it, or she. I mean, maybe she. I don't know. Just think.
It reminds me of
every time I was like, oh god, and it won't let you fast forward.
I think Ocarina of Time. That was it. Tingle. Hey. Listen.
I don't think it's as bad as Tingle. I hate
Tingle. It reminded me of
like
that
Jar Jar.
kind of,
yeah.
You said people gonna die?
No, not that bad. Jesus.
But the name of the quest that you're on, it's like a 4-part quest with him, is like the 4th part is like you see it there the whole time, and it's like I can't remember the name of it, or I would say it, but it's something like splitting from the thing or something.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as I saw that there might be kind of a some sort of divide, I was immediately more interested in that storyline. So who knows?
Well, it's like I saw someone tweeted this week about the game, and it was basically just like went into a dark house and got stuck in the wall, sold the house and logged out. And it's just like, well, I get it, bug or whatever, but you needed to turn on your lamp. Like, that was the first thing I thought of, was like, that's one thing I love about the game. Like, at night, you better have your lantern on because it's really freaking dark.
Yeah,
I love it.
And monsters get more powerful, which I love.
At a certain hour or whatever.
Yeah.
I like all the that was the part that is frustrating for me. I like all the concepts about the game. Like, obviously, I was really interested in trying it because of all the concepts.
Hey,
but
Shannon.
What?
Remember that last game that you liked that had donkeys and you could do trade runs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is way better.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
I think this is one, like, at some point Shannon might kind of dig in, but she might not.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. I wanted a game that we would all four
I know.
hop on and, like.
I know.
But we need to break off and give Shannon a chance because there is some hotness that she's been involved in.
I guess.
What?
Well, you guys are way excited. Go ahead and talk about.
No, I think
actually, I don't. We actually have MMO news we should kind of cover.
Sure.
Oh, there is a lot of.
Yeah, hit today.
You're gonna count yours as cheating?
I guess if we even get to it, but I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about ArenaNet at all.
Yeah.
Do you
I think I have to.
Do you want to? Well, it's kind of the MMO show, and it's not the BDO show, so maybe we can talk about a couple other things.
This has been a really, really shitty week for MMOs, honestly.
It has.
And then today, a few other things happened, but did you guys want to give like a brief update on what happened with ArenaNet before we do the other two bad news things that we did?
Sure. Yeah, well, and ArenaNet's thing's not necessarily it's not bad news. If anything, you could look at it as good news. Colin from ArenaNet, who's the lead director over Guild Wars 2. This is kind of old news at this point.
Yeah.
But
we weren't.
If you didn't know, if you weren't following, and you get all your news from us. No.
Sorry for you.
But yeah, Colin has left. He has moved on. He has not said to where. There's some speculation that he moved in to work for Amazon, along with some other ArenaNet people who had left, but nobody knows for sure. That's not been announced.
Before you move on, one thing that's interesting about that is Amazon did just release a basically a MMO builder, like for free, that you can use to, like, build your own MMOs. So that's, I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
We'll have to check that. But instead of Colin at the helm, the game is kind of getting back its original lead, which is Mike O'Brien. He was the current, I think his title was president of ANET, but he was the game director for Guild Wars 1, and stepped up into the more leadership role for like directing the company, not necessarily the game itself. Or I don't know if that was before, like still during Guild Wars 1, or if it happened alongside Guild Wars 2's development. But anyways, he's just stepping down temporarily until they fill Colin's role. A lot of people in the community were pretty upset that Colin's leaving because he's kind of been the face of the company.
Are you upset by it? I mean,
no, I'm not.
Anybody?
Was he the one who brought us hot?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that brought us hot.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't
the other
know.
guy
Well,
going, I told you that hot thing wasn't going to work. Now get out here and let me show you how you do it.
I think he was the director, so you could argue that it's down to management to make final say on decisions that were made in it. And but
he's off to better and our
for
other
him,
stuff.
it
And
sounds like
good luck.
his excuses for leaving were that he's going to be able to help support his wife, since his wife's been so supportive of his endeavors these past few years. So he'll be able to support her more because he's going to be far, far closer to home. So I think that's a good win for him and for his wife, it sounds like. So, but yeah, Mike O'Brien's going to step down, and they had a big AMA on Reddit at the same time they announced this and answered a bunch of community questions. I can't go into huge detail. I have not been following the game immensely the past couple months, but they did the couple things that I saw that I personally was happy to see was they understood a lot of the concerns with Heart of Thorns, the expansion, namely that people like me who do a lot of content solo or in smaller groups weren't really able to do much of the content in Heart of Thorns because of just how much of a pain in the ass it was.
That was me too.
Yeah, we had to go with the Zerg or you couldn't do it. And then once the Zerg was gone, they didn't scale back any of the areas, it seemed like. From the complaints I saw, I didn't...
Yeah, you ran out and you were just getting constantly killed everywhere.
Yep. So they said that they're going to attack some of that stuff. It sounds like anything that was in the AMA that was answered, even if it was positive, it sounded like it's still months away, though. So I'm not super high on it. The one thing that kind of came out of the bag was they really spelled out how many developers or how many programmers or whatever staff, let's just call them staff, how much staff was on each segment of the game, like on live content or on what they said, the next expansion,
Let's put an
which
end
kind
to this
of
sad
showed
spectacle.
that
It
it
shames
seems
us
like
both.
the whole living story thing that they did for the first couple years of the game is not going to be a thing anymore. At least that's what I took from it.
Oh, I thought they were bringing that back. That's what I
There's still a living story that was planned, but it almost seems like past that they're going to get more into like a regular rotation of expansion packs, kind of like the way Guild Wars 1 was. And maybe they're filling in some of that space with living story content, but the original plan with the living story content was we're not going to do expansions, we're doing living story content. We're going to just constantly update the game.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there's going to be way more space in between this stuff now.
Yeah,
but
didn't
there's
they
gonna
say that season 3 of Living Story is coming, but not for a long time?
Yeah, I think I saw that. I couldn't tell you the dates though. It
I
sounded
wanna
like it was
say
a ways
like,
off.
not this year, or maybe the
I'm
end
not
of this year. I could be wrong totally.
I thought I did see that it's still a ways away for that next segment of the living story. So that's
Which I took. There were people bummed from that. So
yeah, I'm more bummed that I can't finish off a lot of the Heart of Thorn stuff, and I'm not a raider, so it's one of those things that's like I hate to say that it's broken because of the content that's there that I don't like, because I mean somebody's liking it,
Yeah.
so whatever.
but you can say what your experience is.
Yeah, for what I like to play in the game, I'm kind of tapped out right now.
And I think I'm like you, but even like this is a game I play a ton of, but there are lots of people I know from being guilded with and on social media and stuff who know way more about the game than I do. And what I've gotten is they seem bummed too, like right now with the state of the game. So I don't understand all of their reasons. I just know my reasons is like you, single player wise, it got to a point where it wasn't fun for me.
Right. Some of the other bummer aspects of it are that, like, for a large part, WVW is still kind of broken. They did some things to it, and I cannot speak heavily on it because I haven't been involved in WVW in a year and a half or maybe 2 years now. But they apparently did some stuff that really broke it down bad. So that's seems like the player base for that is dwindling.
I tried to do when Heart of Thorns came out and I was kind of stagnated with the expansion stuff. I went to WW and it was definitely, there was not a lot of people out there. And I know they were all kind of grinding doing the expansion stuff.
Sure.
But to me, like when I was already kind of bummed with the expansion stuff, I'm like, oh, I really like, WW. So I went there and that was kind of the bummer that kind of drove me off.
So my hope for the game,
supposedly Cal Bajui just said there's an overhaul on its way soon. TM.
And they need to just run the Halloween event
all the time.
I love that snow fight. The winter snow fight.
Yeah, that was good.
Maybe just have all the holiday events going 24/7.
There you go.
And
It's
for
a year
more
of
bad
holiday.
news,
Yes, let's move on to
today, Daybreak announced that they officially are canning the
vaporware.
Yeah, it's vaporware. EverQuest Next will never exist.
There's $100 down the toilet. Flush it.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people who bought Landmark stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, there's been talk about how there haven't been updates about this game.
Yeah, but a lot of people were.
I love how it
took me a while.
So
to
long
find the
to
board.
You just see him on camera, just like, is this one? No, no.
It was muted. It was muted for so long. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh. But yeah, part of it was I had this hope that, well, SOE was so transparent, with who they had in charge, and those guys are gone now, and now Daybreak is a different climate, a different atmosphere. Maybe they're just, a company that doesn't give the, updates very well at all. But yeah, I was naive. So
New progression server coming though.
That's
pretty much.
yeah, I don't want to go.
No, I'm
weird.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I just noticed. I was like, God, I freaking forgot to cancel mine. So I've been paying them like the $15 a month for not playing.
And they
I
still
was
couldn't
just-
keep the game going.
Yeah, and I'm like, so
You did
what's
your best.
going on?
You know
So,
what?
like,
You did your
remember
part.
Well, I did. I'm an ass, and I tweeted. I was like, "So, are you going to give us cash and your shop for that money for that game, or are we just at $100?" Like, I think that's like, I don't expect it, but I think they could do that and really get some good faith from everybody who put money in. And be like, you know what, we're going to give you $100 in whatever cash their shop is.
You mean the money towards Landmark?
Yeah,
well, or whatever.
That's technically launching. Like that.
No, I think it's technically still an alpha, but
no, they are saying it's actually launching. So like they're not
get it
down.
You get a $10 game for $100, but originally it was for both games, and Landmark was the builder. So it's like that's what they sold for that money was you get basically the game. We're going to launch this builder first. And now what you get is you get the builder, which costs $10 for everybody else, instead of, and all the other items that you would have gotten or whatever.
Well, they say
unfortunately that's what SOE sold.
Well, they're gonna say that you paid for early access.
There were I'm sure caveats and everything in that you purchasing it that you were buying what you bought.
Yeah, no, and that's why I said I don't think actually anything will come of it more than you'll get the $10 game.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what you'll get. I don't think they actually have to do anything more, but I'm just saying that I think that they should. And I think that they would actually get a lot of for it. Yeah, and it wouldn't really cost them anything, honestly. Like I said, I've been paying $15 a month for a game that I haven't even been playing. So if you just gave me that for free, what's the difference? Except for I'm canceling my subscription now that you screwed me out of my $100.
Not getting any more of my money.
Speaking of bad news,
until Progression Server comes out.
Was it Turbine? What was the other one?
Carbine.
Yeah, WildStar and the whole.
You guys announced it though.
China.
Yeah. Big layoffs. China port is canceled of the game.
Which sucks for all the developers and everybody involved who are losing their jobs. I hope they find something, and I'm sure they will.
It sounds like the free-to-play model did not work out well for WildStar.
I think the WoW clone model didn't work for WildStar. I think
it didn't work for anybody, honestly.
Right. And I think that's the biggest problem is it was a concept of what WildStar was, the lore and everything was cool. Some of the stuff they did was cool. The
combat was really cool.
They did a lot of cool stuff, but in the end, it really looked like WoW and kind of felt like WoW when you played.
They specifically shoehorned. I mean, they advertised that this is WoW on steroids. This is a full-fledged rating game with that right out of the gate. It's going to be super complex. It's going to be all that, and I loved it. And I loved the art style, and I liked the combat. But I think they were trying to go too hard, too fast with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you already got WoW, right? I mean, 7 million people left WoW, so why are they going to go play another?
Yeah.
WoW.
It's for the same thing. You're going to get people who are going to go check it out and then say, "Well, I've already had all this progress in this other game,
and all my friends are already there."
Yeah. Everyone's going to come back to this game, so I'm going to go do that. And it's weird to me that they went free to play, and the Steam release is still coming up, and
really?
I don't. Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. It's not on Steam. It's coming on Steam. Hot. But to me, it's it seemed like they I actually, when they announced this today, I thought it already went on Steam and kind of died there. But people were saying, well, maybe Steam released the last gasp of it. I don't know. I know a lot of people on Twitter and stuff that I follow really like the game, and I hope that for their sake it hangs in there and does something.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of MMOs need to do is quit shooting for 10 million people. Just shoot for your 200, 300,000 people, and then you're not going to be laying off half your studio when you get there. You will be set, and if it does well and better, then hire more people. But I think you can do a more specialized MMO and fit a small group. I mean, I think the 10 million, US, we're talking 5 million players for WoW or something is kind of dead for an MMO.
Yeah, you have to scale your budget to fit something lower than that.
Well, it took World of Warcraft a long time to get to the high numbers too. They didn't start there, Anyway, all right.
But yeah, I mean, they did
sad day
blow
for-
I mean, what was like EverQuest was what 250,000 was like their peak, and like WoW launched with like 1 million, 2 million.
I think
And it
EverQuest.
just, like-
I think Dark Age of Camelot at one point was like 750,000 subscribers. At like
No, it didn't have that much.
it maybe 500 then.
I don't think it had that much.
Really.
Really.
I could be totally wrong then.
See, and what's funny is I think EverQuest, like the EverQuest Next, like honestly, all I think they should have done has been like, look, we're going to relaunch EverQuest, the original EverQuest, with brand new graphics. Like it's going to be the modern day graphics look, all the same content from the first time, and then we'll maybe change some stuff after that. But like the first expansion, because like how well the progression servers did, like compared to their like regular stuff, is just astounding. And like you see what the people who loved that game loved. It's just like they want to play that game how it was.
Mm-hmm.
But give us the modern day like mechanics and graphics, like so we're not like fumbling around on the crap. But keep the gameplay the same. That's what we love.
Yeah.
Cool fact.
And Shannon, you are right. They reached a peak in 2002 of 250,000, and that was considered huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're
And
right.
then it fell,
'Cause I think-
and then rose again
Yeah.
with Shrouded Isles. Or
But
no,
that
with
was a
Trials
success.
of the Lance.
Yeah, for what they budgeted in that game, that was huge.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what got him Warhammer.
Yeah.
Which were you guys disappointed with it?
Not at first.
No.
No, I loved it for a long time.
And except for every time I jumped over something, my fucking horse would get caught on it, and I would just sit there going, God damn, you guys make this stupid.
You know what was so good about that game though was in PvP, like the knockbacks. I love that.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Like a tank. Like I can do something as a tank in this game. It's really cool.
Yeah, you can block. Yeah, knock people back in.
That was cool.
Like the Iron Breaker, you could stand there with a shield and hold people back.
Yeah.
Sort of be like, throw me into the middle. This is gonna be awesome.
So, do you guys think I should give BDO another shot?
I think you need to do what you want to do.
Shannon, like I think I said to you, I think at some point you will feel the desire. Like, don't force yourself to play it. Like, if right now, if you don't have to pay a sub, it's not going anywhere. Don't try to make yourself like it. With the Minecraft, your server stuff and all that, like play whatever you want. And I do feel with the systems and how this game is laid out, at some point it may click with you. But not. I mean, don't make.
You might want to try something that's like totally bizarre and different from like playing this game. Like, just go explore. Like, don't even worry about like leveling up or getting.
Do I have to do that? Those stupid quest lines though to like unlock certain things?
Not really. I mean, you unlock points just for doing stuff. You get experience for
But
just
you got
stuff.
contribution points for doing all the little side quests.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of
it
that.
helps a great deal.
But a lot of the
But-
side quests aren't really any different from typical MMO quests.
And I don't want to do that. I thought this was a sandbox. I didn't want to do questing. I thought that would be
No,
optional.
it's not a sandbox. People don't know what a sandbox is.
Yeah.
No.
People call something a sandbox anymore. They're absolutely just.
They called it sandbox because it's desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I going back to the Warhammer thing, I really liked in that game. I could bypass every quest, go straight into Battlegrounds if I wanted to, or go right into whatever open RVR map on one character and level completely that way, and never ever really miss out on anything. Or I could PvE the whole way. Like it was.
You could level up by
truly
just
optional.
killing stuff.
Well,
I mean, like, you get your contribution points. Like, that's what I did for pretty much.
was that
first
stupid
level.
little guy gonna keep blinking at me like that he wants to talk to me? And
You can ignore him.
Maybe talk to him once in a while.
I don't wanna
maybe
talk to him. I don't
maybe
like
he'll
him.
answer his question.
really dislike that.
He has needs,
Just
Shannon.
rub them the right way.
Really
How about
dislike
this?
it.
Call Jason in to talk to him for you for 5 minutes.
I'll rub him right underneath his eyes. He falls asleep.
I don't like that.
Go drink a glass of wine. and then come back
Shoot
in.
the boot of my milk.
I have to have Jason do all my PvE questing stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just like if that thing will blink at you all day long down in the bottom. Just ignore it and go just kill shit. Like, go look for a guy that says, "Where do I kill shit?" and then just go kill shit. Or like they said, don't worry about any of that. Just don't play the game.
Well, no, I did.
Just
I want to go kill stuff, but then I also want to like get into like the trading and stuff like that you guys were talking about. And there's
Jason.
In junk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You can do all that without that.
yeah, I don't want to do any of that guy. Like
Jason.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Like every morning or night, whenever you brush your teeth, when you're done, can you go up to Shannon and say, "Hey, check out these teeth"?
I hate that. I hate that so much. That's the dumbest thing.
You know what else is the dumbest thing?
And I understand you guys like it. I don't mean to like. I'm not trying to rip on it. I don't want to be the person that tears apart something everyone loves. I'm
I'm
trying to be
interested in
quiet
hearing
about it.
why
Like, and I'm
people don't
glad
like
you
the
guys
game.
like it, huh?
I'm interested in hearing the reasons why people don't like the game. I mean, I
Oh, totally.
am honestly like it's a nice stretch.
I don't want to engage with anyone NPCs that I've come across. Like totally opposite of what you guys have said. Like none of them
okay,
interest
here's the
me.
thing.
Take off the headset.
Huh?
Play without a headset. It's the trick
Yeah,
in
that's
this
true.
game.
I don't listen to them. I usually just read their
They're
text.
just
and then go on.
awful. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to help you. I don't want to talk to you.
No, the voice acting is fucking
Maybe
horrible.
I should move over to Felicia.
Maybe you
more
should
like the
shut
actual-
up.
The non-voice stuff, like
The worst. I don't know why it makes me laugh, but it's also like the one that irritates me the most is one of the stable guys. I think he's either in one of like the first camps or maybe he's in a town. I don't remember. But you go up to him and like every time you go up to him and initiate a conversation, it's like, "You an outsider?"
Oh, I hate that guy. I hate which guy.
Fuck.
It's like,
so bad.
Or the one guy, the chief, like, "Oh, you're not from around here." Like, we just talked. We totally just talked, dude.
By now, I am from around here. Yeah, it's definitely. I wonder, can you just turn off their voice? I don't know.
There's sliders for different audio stuff, so maybe.
There's sliders. There's so many menus. I mean, there probably
man, if
is.
you
It's right now I'm weighing out how much do I want to like invest time into figuring out how to make it something I like and how much I just want to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And honestly, the thing in me that's like sad is that like the joy that I have from logging in and looking at this game, I feel sad that some of that doesn't go your way. Like I can't even imagine if I hated this game. Like if I logged in and I was like,
yeah.
God,
The last
why
time
am
I logged in was only because I felt like I had to because I knew all you guys were playing.
But I think you know what the biggest weird thing about Black Desert is? It might be the first MMO where you can have a guild full of people and everybody's online, but fucking nobody's online. Like, I wonder how many guilds are out there that have chat just going from all day. That's just people going on. Hey, anybody there? Hey,
let us.
Yeah,
Why
it's
do that?
really weird
That's why
nebulous
I've
system.
been telling people to use our Discord text chat to just coordinate to see
Yeah,
which one's
that's
actually on. Cause
probably good. And if for anybody that's not playing the game is wondering what the hell I'm talking about, it's because you can AFK fish in the game.
you can
And it's
AFK everything in the
You
game.
can AFK a lot of stuff in the game, but mainly fishing because it's a way that you can not be online but still be doing something and making money.
Maybe I should do that. Just fish for like 14
Yeah.
days, and you guys all think I'm playing, and then
Because there's a game just right
And you
there.
just
that
be like, I
could-
love it.
oh, I love
Right.
it so
You'll level up.
You'd be like, what do you love
I
about
got so
it?
many mud skippers.
Oh, I've no idea.
So then you got to go sell it. But you got to get your.
Then you gotta
node.
buy a new fishing pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you
Or
got to
make
talk
one.
to the fisher otters, and they say, "Queek."
Okay, is that cute?
They're very
They
cute.
are.
I fucking love the fisher otters. They're great.
Did you know there's a skill called hunting in the game?
I saw somebody talking about hunting on there, and I hadn't looked into it yet. And it's another one of those things. Like every day I play the game, I'm like, "There's this totally other fucking thing in the game," and I have no idea what it is.
You can get a gun. You get a gun to shoot birds out of the sky and go hunting And it's like a skill, like trading, like going and cutting down trees. No, it's
Really?
just shooting birds. And later on, you go hunt whales in the ocean.
What?
But that's in the expansion. That's in the when we get the update that they've had.
Oh, I want that.
But it's like, what? You go hunt whales?
I am Captain Ahab and up in that motherfucker.
So are you researching the version overseas for that
It's
stuff?
impossible not to. Like, it's all like just.
I'm
like,
I'm impressed. Like, I mean, okay, how much you're into it. That's awesome.
Well,
I started a new
he
podcast.
started a podcast. He started BDO Radio.
It's bigger than my On Smite podcast already with 3 episodes.
Jesus.
That's amazing. It's just something's not clicking with me because everyone on... You know how I know I'm wrong? Today I was listening to Massively OP and Sipster was on there and he was talking about how he doesn't like the game either. And he, like... I respect his opinion, but he and I never agree. Like, we always like and dislike the exact opposite games for the exact opposite reasons.
Your tastes just are completely opposite.
Yeah,
Right.
like I've always thought like he and I will never see eye to eye on a game. But
Until BDO.
But today I was like everything he was saying. I'm like, yeah. Oh my god, totally, yeah.
All right, but I mean, do you want my opinion on
So
why
I
you don't
have
like
to-
it?
Why?
Is because it launched like within the day of. I mean, you are a huge Minecraft fan with the new release, and you are on, which I've heard, and you know, MMO wise, people may like this or may not, but it sounds really cool. You are playing on a server where you were broken up into teams with the new release, and you all like it was basically like kind of like Ready Player One type thing. Like people have to do this, and you were totally engulfed in that.
Challenges that the teams have to
Yeah.
accomplish, and then the team that the team that won it was not my team, but the team that won. When we go fight the dragon tomorrow, that team gets the first set of wings because there's wings now in Minecraft and you can fly. So, but you have to fight the dragon and kill him.
And steal his wings.
Yeah.
From what you told me, I mean, that sounds like you had a ton of fun. That was great. Like, and
It's been great.
you may not like BDO, but I think I mean, and I don't blame you for how much you like it and how this server like game system was set up
Yeah.
for this time. Like that, you're gonna play that right now. And
Well, the thing I like about what I'm doing right now is like how Slurms was saying, like you're in a guild and everyone's online, but no one's really online. Whereas I'm working with teams and we're all actively, like we all have like things we're working on for the team. And sometimes we're all online together doing these things at the same time and heading to different areas to collect and fight things together. And right now I'm kind of, that's like more what I want to do. And it doesn't
you
seem
want
like
that communal involvement.
yeah, and I'm not
you
going to
want
get that.
guild quests?
Yeah.
We have guild quests.
I know. I saw them, but I didn't know.
The crap out of me.
I didn't know how to do them.
I don't either. And I think you really need to be 50. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to
There's
look up
some-
that still.
But yeah, so I was just like, well, yeah.
I
I'm kinda
think
having
she's
fun
just
here.
scared because I'm the guild leader.
I'm not scared because you're the guild
Yeah, I
leader.
think you are. Remember
she's
Rip?
not in control. She doesn't know what to do.
No, I don't care about that.
I know. I'm kidding.
But no, I am. It did happen at the same exact time, and that was unfortunate. But
Mhm. I hope that after a little bit of time, you give it another shot, and at least kind of open mind, give it a shot,
thinking.
and then at that point determine if it's really your thing or not.
yeah, I'm trying. Like I will totally admit, like I have no idea. I may love this game someday. I mean, I might try it, tomorrow morning, and like something just clicks with me where I'm just like, yes, I get it now. But
I'll tell you, I don't know if this will help, but honestly, after the beta, like I was telling Eric, because I gave him like my friend pass, and I was like, I don't even know if you want to like
bother.
do that. Like I don't know if you want to bother with that screen pass. Like after the beta, like I was just like all the bugs and all the like talking to people, and I felt like I was like I played 3 or 4 characters, and it was just like all the same crap, like. And then when like live started, I just said, you know what, forget all that. Let's just play the game. And there was just a point where I kind of like crested and was just looking at the world instead of looking at the game. and it became like an experience, and like, wow, this is like kind of finding the things they did right and like forgetting about all the crap they did wrong. And I kind of got broken because it was like we all love MMO so much that like to see an MMO and to like think of an MMO as a pure thing of like how it should be in our. This is nothing like anything like you would think it would work and be right, and there's so many broken things, but there's so many right things, and if you can get past that other crap, that's just like, wow, it's just like crazy.
Yeah,
but
that's what we're enjoying now, or not enjoying now.
I'm trying.
You're fine.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, you're fine.
It's my life.
Really sorry.
God.
There's an empty spot in our guild.
I'm in the guild.
Let us agree to disagree.
Well,
and put all this.
And I logged in like
not anymore, I believe
What are the contests?
last week.
10 people in a screenshot from your guild.
Like I said, there's no sub. You might at some point,
for all your might,
like you might want to play it and click. You might not. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's pushing you. We'll see you later tonight.
Yep. But
Just joke.
that is it, I think, for this episode of the MMO show. Anybody have anything before we log off?
I really liked the Division.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the division at all. Wow.
Completely forget. And
Is that an MMO? You guys consider that an MMO?
You could talk about it. I think it's okay.
I haven't played it.
It's really slick.
Is it?
Yeah, like the actual. I am really impressed with the storytelling and just how good the interface and shooting feels. It's really, really good. I'm only level 10, so who knows? It might get super repetitive, but
You want to wait and talk about it next week?
yeah, I can talk more about it next week. But right now, I am really, really enjoying it.
Good. I wanted to. It was definitely. It was something I was really considering picking up, and then I liked Black Desert Online way more than I thought I would. So,
Right. Yeah.
I want to get around to
I had
playing it. I hope it
pre-purchased it a
doesn't
couple
like
months
peter
ago.
out.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I mean, just I mean, you saw like Destiny is still going crazy strong, and to me, like it seems very much like Destiny, but I like the setting and storytelling way more than Destiny. So I'm like, I don't think this game's going to go anywhere. There might be people who complain about it being repetitive, which people do about Destiny, but people still play Destiny like crazy. So yeah, we can talk about more about it next week.
I just can't seem to make up
Well,
my
until
mind.
then, this is Steve, the MMO show.
I have made my choice.
Get the fuck out of here.
Said like a
Fuck
pro.
Bed. Let's log off.
Show is in the can. Thanks for listening to the MMO show. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to email.themmoshow@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and various other social media at The MMO Show, and visit our website at themmoshow.com. I don't know if I'm into this anymore.
Now let's just cancel it.
Yeah.
This podcast is part of the Game and Entertainment Network. Visit tgenetwork.net to find the latest episodes from all our shows.
we have to start the show, and Slurms, you have to rein it in.
There's no fucking way.